Well, I just love short track racing, especially here at Martinsville.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, you bunch of hot dogs.
And don't ever count anybody out of this race.
Oh, 3 wide to go. They trade some more paint. And for the first time ever, Kyle Busch wins at Martinsville.
It's a true test for the best.
It's the greatest place for a short track race. It's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing from Martinsville, presented by AutoZone. For 70 years, you spell mayhem, Martinsville. The field is rolled out. It is set by car owner points after qualifying was rained out, and that puts point leader Kyle Larson on the pole next to Chase Elliott.
Yeah, got that 78 car. Already got 1 win this year, but he's looking for his first short track win.
Joey Logano is starting in the 5th position. Outside of him, Jamie McMurray. Chip Ganassi Racing is hot, and so is McMurray with 2 second-place finishes here.
Ryan Blaney for the hometown team, the Wood Brothers, and Clint Boyer 3rd last week.
And Kevin Harvick starting 9th, past 2011 Martinsville winner. And boy, the guy that was fast in practice, watch out for Kyle Busch.
And what did Clint Boyer say about that guy driving the 31 car? Called him a bear. He won this thing in 2012.
Casey Kane with Kurt Busch in the 7th row. Kurt's a 2-time winner here. Eric Jones making his first Martinsville Cup start, along with Trevor Bayne.
And in row 9, starting 17th, Jimmy Johnson attempted to win his 10th grandfather clock. And alongside of him, wants to get that legendary number 43 back in victory lane, Eric Almirola.
Yeah, Daniel Suarez, who has struggled here. It's his first time here in a Cup car, but he's gotten a lot better. He might be a guy to keep an eye on.
Starting on points puts Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in the 11th row with Paul Menard. And Menard's stablemate somewhat, Ty Dillon, in an affiliate Childress car with Ricky Stenhouse. Matt Kenseth trying to get his season back on track back there with Michael McDowell. Let's dial up our pole sitters. They roll from turn number 3. Kyle Larson, Fox Sports here. How's the view from up there?
The view is a lot different than I'm used to here in Martinsville. So happy about the cancellation of qualifying there the other day to let us start up front here and go from that number 1 pit stall today. So Target Chevy was decent yesterday in practice. Just got to limit my mistakes today.
Well, you had a lot of speed you showed in practice. How's your comfort level coming with this place?
Comfort level is getting a little bit better each time we come here. We were able to run 3rd here in this race last year, so don't quite feel like I've got the hang of it like I need to yet, but definitely feel like I've gotten better each and every time.
All right, good luck today.
Thank you.
Kyle Larson from the pole. Let's get down to pit road and get late breaking stories, beginning with Jamie Little.
Well, Mike, Chase Elliott won the Truck Series race here yesterday, and no, it was good for his confidence. His crew chief, Alan Gustafson, told me not much of what he learned will transfer to today's race. The cars are simply too different. So the goal for this 2014, keep their driver confident, keep him patient, especially at the start of this race when there's a lot of cars faster behind him. Matt?
Jamie, the stars and planets, at least in pre-race, are lining up nicely for Brad Keselowski. Starts 4th, has a lot of confidence, speed, and balance in that 2 car, but it's the little things. He's got a relatively flat pit stall, which will pay dividends later, an empty pit box in front, and also probably the biggest, Paul Wolfe, after a week's absence, back on the box. Maybe timing is right for his first clock. Chris?
Well, with 5 wins at Martinsville, Denny Hamlin is a hard driver to bet against. And almost 30% of his Cup Series wins have come on the short tracks in Virginia. Just about every year, he's a contender here. But the last 3 years, he's had speeding penalties on pit lane. So for him to find victory lane, he's got to be perfect right here. Larry?
Chris, not only is it our first short track race of the year, it's the first short track with stage racing. And I'm telling you, strategy will be all over the place trying to win those stages, ultimately trying to win the race. Easy to describe the weather, absolutely perfect and gorgeous for short track racing here at Martinsville, Virginia. Now the race analysis, 500 laps, the stages 130, 130, final stage 240, pit road speed 30 miles per hour. The fuel window 140 to 150 laps. Our grip level on these concrete corners are 3 and goes down on into a run. And to the rear, Daniel Suarez in the 19 car in a backup car from a practice crash.
Thanks, Larry. 1 to go when they get to the line. One of the things we saw in practice was Goodyear's new right side tire compound allowed those tires to put a lot more rubber into these concrete corners very early on in practice and improve that grip level.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, we got some things to deal with. We got a different aero package here that we haven't had before. We got a different tire, and we got stages. But one thing that hasn't changed, this little racetrack.
1 to go. Here's today's Ford Performance track facts. The first grandfather clock, Ridgeway clock, awarded here by track promoter Clay Earls, was given to Fred Lorenzen when he won here in 1964. Kurt Busch is the last driver to bring a Ford to victory lane here in the fall of 2002. And Edsel Ford is driving the pace car today.
And Mike, the 42 car elected to take the outside, and that tells me a deal has been made.
Deal with Chase Elliott on the inside.
Chase Elliott, you're going to work a little orchestrate this thing, and Chase will let the 42 down in front of him.
These are 2 young drivers, and I think that's a really smart move by both of them.
Yeah, they respect each other.
Because if there was no deal and Chase, or rather Kyle started on the inside, Chase could get hung out on the outside for how long?
He could be back there with Suarez.
These 2 young guys feel like they're going up against Goliath. Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch.
Well, let's see what happens here, boys and girls. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go short track racing, boys.
I love it, though. Brad Keselowski says, no, none of that.
I'll have no part of that.
I'm not part of your deal.
No one told me about this. I think it's going to be interesting to see if that outside line will let these cars run side by side.
Wow, contact already.
Yeah, Chase Elliott went in hard into turn 3 and drifted up the racetrack, made contact with Keselowski. It'll take a little while to get the heat in the tires, the air pressure's up. Look at Keselowski, might make a really bold move to get to the bottom here. That worked out perfect for him.
I think Martin Truex cut him a little slack there and let him get down.
Good for him. Now, how about Jamie McMurray in the 1? 5th place on the outside of Martin Truex. He's going to have to try to find. Whoa! Then they slam fenders in turn 1.
Truex got loose getting into turn 1. We've seen a lot of cars wheel hopping as we see the 2 of Brad Keselowski making a move on Chase Elliott. Pretty heavy damage to the left side of the 1 of McMurray.
Keselowski to 2nd. Now it is Elliott who's hung to the outside.
Yeah, this is not going to be good for Chase Elliott. He's struggling a little bit here. Maybe the car's a little bit tight. Can't seem to get the car to rotate. He's going to lose a lot of positions here if he can't get down quick.
Mike, we saw in practice the 42 car of Larson is fast on the short run, but the better car is the 2 car on the longer run. So it'll be interesting to see, can Keselowski chase down Larson?
This is crucial right here for Chase Elliott. He needs to roll around the outside here and then get a good launch and try to squeeze in behind the 78 right here.
Do it, do it, do it.
Get down. Oh, he didn't get down, DW.
He should have gotten in that hole.
And that may cost him another spot because these are all good front-running cars, and they're on the preferred lane, the inside.
And a lot of times that's just lack of experience and really knowledge there. Chase hadn't raced here a lot. Probably if he had raced here a few more times, he'd have known that was an opportunity.
Here's the opportunity right in front of Ryan Blaney right there.
2nd place, Jamie McMurray to the inside of Brad Keselowski.
Look at Chip Ganassi Racing and the strength of those cars.
And look at the front of Jimmy Johnson's car. He's already been into it.
Oh, that's pretty heavy damage. That could really affect the air coming into that nose.
Now, he and Eric Almirola may have gotten together, or Eric Jones, excuse me, because after Jimmy got the nose damage, that happened. Excuse me, pardon me.
That's just Martinsville rash. You're going to have a car, at the end of the day, it's going to be beaten up pretty good if you're out there racing very hard.
Yeah, I think that's just Eric Jones trying to squeeze him a little bit. Jimmy just poking his nose in there saying, hey, you know what? Don't fight me too much here early on. I'm coming through.
Joe Gibbs 0 for 20 on the win list this year. 2 of their top drivers battling, Hamlin and Busch.
What do you do in this situation? You're Denny Hamlin. You're thinking that the best car out there in practice all weekend long has been the 18 of Kyle Busch. Do I want to give him that position? Hey, we're teammates. We work together. We share information. But I've got to beat you, so I'm going to race you pretty hard here for this position.
Yeah, well, they're running 11th and 12th right now. They'll sort it out. No big rush at this point.
A.J. Allmendinger, Danica Patrick down the front straightaway. This is a renewal of a battle that's been going on for several races. And as we said in the pre-race, for settling scores, well, there's no better place than right here. And they have been against each other about 4 or 5 times already in the first 9 laps.
And look who's right behind him, Michael McDowell. He's kind of been in the mix of some of this as well in the past couple weeks.
Little root and gouge, bounce off the curb, bounce into you.
You know,
Here we go.
We talk about how important patience is here at Martinsville, but what happens in a situation like that, I felt like Allmendinger was trying to give her as much room as he could, but he clipped that curb and slid up into her. And as soon as he slid up into her, that sent a message. Hey, wait a minute, what are you doing running into the side of me?
It's pretty early. You always say about this place, Mike, you got to pick your fights. You can't get mad every time somebody cuts you off or bumps into you. You got to wait till it really means something before you lose your temper or lose your cool.
Well, sometimes we call this the conveyor belt. Right here, you'll see why. There are cars all the way around this half mile, but for one corner. 12 laps in, lapping will begin before too long.
It's funny, this little racetrack has a lot of nicknames. Some we can tell you about.
Now Chase Elliott started outside pole due to points. He's dropped back to 6th. Jamie.
Well, he's been struggling quite a bit. I talked to his crew chief this morning, and because Jeff Gordon was so good here in the 24, he said Chase's driving style just isn't the same, so he has a hybrid setup right now, and Chase telling his team he is plowing tight, and after about 10 laps, it's finally starting to turn.
But that reminds me of a setup like you would run here. Maybe you want your car just a little tighter than what a guy like Chase Elliott would be accustomed to.
And we'll see how it works out on the longer run. If it comes around the long run, saves those rear tires, I think that's a good thing. You're right, DW. I always like my car to be a little bit tighter at the start of a run. Matt?
And Clint Bowyer, some great battles going on. He let his teammate Kevin Harvick go by because Bowyer's car simply way too free, spinning the tires. He was like a pinball earlier, concerned about damage. Spotter Brett Griffin says you're fine. Bubba Ravage says we'll fix you up on the first stop.
Well, here's a situation the exact opposite of Chase Elliott. He's worried about wearing the rear tires out and losing all of his drive off. He's a smart driver. He realizes that if those rear tires go off, you're going to fall back a long way. So he's hoping he gives up a few now, saves the rear tires, and it comes back to him later in this run.
17 laps in, Kyle Larson has led them all. His fastest lap, 2022. He's currently lapping about 0.6 of a second slower than that.
But he's going to have some company pretty quick here. McMurray in the 1 and the 2 of Keselowski closing up in a hurry.
Chip Ganassi Racing, run 1-2 at Martinsville. Brad Keselowski has forced his Ford to the front of the field, passing Jamie McMurray as we went to break, and Kyle Larson just moments ago to take the lead after Larson led the first 23 circuits here at Martinsville. So there is your running order after 25 laps.
Did you see how that happened, though, Mike? The 42 New Keselowski was a little quicker. The 2 car, he pulled over and just let Brad go. You're better than I am. Go.
Well, this is exactly what Larson has struggled with here in the past is these longer runs where he really wears out the rear tires and fades. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Now, some of these drivers have run trucks here. Corey LaJoie, it's his first time here in any kind of race car. In Xfinity Series does not race here. Here's what Eric Jones is up against.
Everywhere. So tight in the center. These guys are just killing me. Tempo, work on your brakes and work on your track bar, whatever you got.
Hey, I got some good news for you, Eric Jones. There's only 475 more laps to go. You got plenty of young guys, they get a little panicky, you know. Got plenty of time to get this car better.
Here comes Joey Logano working on the back bumper of Jamie McMurray as Logano makes the pass for 4th place. Chris Neville.
And Mike, 2017 looking very different than 2016 for Jamie McMurray. Last year at this point, he had 4 races where he had finished 16th or worse. This year, the last 4 races, he's finished in the top 10 3 times. Talking to his crew chief, Matt McCall, today, he said he isn't really that worried about moving over the short tracks. The speed they found on the intermediates, he thinks when we're running well, it's going to do well here too. Right now, Jamie McMurray's saying a little bit loose off the corners.
Meanwhile, our pole sitter Kyle Larson is backing up. We said he had short run speed, but now we're 30 laps into this run. He's been passed for 2nd by Truex, by 3rd for Logano, by 4th by his teammate McMurray, and here comes the 21 of Blaney.
I think he knew this was coming. I think Jeff and I talked to him enough to know that he was not real thrilled with that car on the long run. He felt like they were struggling there.
I've seen some cars starting to move around, search some different lines. We saw that with the 22. I've been seeing it out of Jimmie Johnson, the 48, where they're diming in the corner. Now that rubber's starting to lay down. They start straddling that rubber, coming across on the exit, getting a big launch up off on the exit. That's something Larson's going to have to figure out how to do on this longer run and dial his car to that as the race goes on.
You know, guys, the track looks to be taking a lot more rubber than we saw all through practice and even in the Truck Series race yesterday on Fox. That means that grip will move around on this racetrack. If it continues to get darker and darker on the high side, these guys will have to try to split that seam and get up above it. It'll be interesting to see how this develops.
Yeah, Michael, these cars have a good bit more horsepower than the trucks do, so they're going to lay down a little bit more rubber. They go in the corner a little harder. They accelerate a little harder. You're going to see that buildup come a little quicker.
This getting blocked in. Jeffrey Earnhardt blocking in the 18 of Kyle Busch, not able to make that move on the 41 and his brother Kurt Busch. But I've been waiting to see the 18 of Kyle Busch come to life, and I think his car is finally starting to come in. It took a little while, but I think it's finally starting to get there. Watch him come up through there.
Yeah, I think that 41 car is holding up that group right there that Jimmie Johnson finally got by. What you got, Matt?
His win here in Martinsville last year was really his only short track win in almost the last 30. A contender coming in right now, though. He's telling his team the car is just way too tight. It will not cut, but he's spinning his tires. That's what he wants the team to focus on, to fix when they make their first stop.
Thanks, Matt. 6th place, and here is the leader, putting Daniel Suarez a lap down. It's Suarez's first time here in a Cup car. He backed it into the wall in practice, and series director Richard Buck made the determination that because he did not have any practice laps in this backup car, he would start the race in the rear.
This is crucial for a rookie right here. When the leader comes, like Keselowski, it has a lot of experience, runs so well here. Try to learn something, follow him, see what he's doing with his entry speed, how he's getting the car rotated, how he's accelerating, the line he's running. This is about the best experience that he's going to get all weekend long.
Well, if Kyle Busch is moving forward, it's a funny way to do it. Here comes Eric Almirola, who's worked his way up from 18th now to battle for 13th, and Kyle hung on the outside.
Yeah, he talked about wheel spin, but yet he's tight in the center. Those are two combinations that aren't really what you're looking for.
And it just shows how practice can be deceiving, Mike. We had the 18 car faster than the 5, 10, 15, and 30 lap runs in practice, and now he's struggling in the race.
Heavy on the brake, his brothers battle.
Yeah, but look at him work that outside. Did he find something right there? He just went to the outside of Kurt Busch.
Yeah, he found his brother. He's being nice to him.
Yeah, but he hooked the middle and got a great launch up off the corner. That's the first car we've seen pass anybody on the outside.
I think there was some cooperation there between the two Busch brothers.
Blaney just booted Jamie McMurray as they work to the inside on Corey LaJoie. And we've talked this weekend about the famous Dick Trickle, Teddy Christopher 3-tap rule. 1 tap, I'm here. 2 taps, I got to go, you're in my way. The 3rd tap will put you around. Long employed in short track racing. Why should it be any different here?
They call it divorce code, but I think there's a lot of different names it could have, tell you the truth.
Depends on which end of the bumper you're on.
Exactly right.
Wow,
See
how about
right there.
Blaney right to the bottom?
When you saw a little frustration on McMurray running LaJoie wide, he felt like he was maybe racing him a little bit harder than he wanted to for that position, being a lap car, and that allowed the 21 of Ryan Blaney to come on through him.
Glenn Wood is here, the 91-year-old patriarch of the Wood brothers from Stewart, Virginia. Not far from here. Leonard Wood's here, the whole family, to see their car run at their hometown track.
Getting a little bit deeper into a run here, 43 laps. Let's go inside and look at the foot cam for Joey Logano. See, left foot brakes. Quite a bit of pedal travel. We've been noticing this all weekend long, but look how he tapers out of that brake pedal as he gets down to the center, helps the car turn, squeezes into that throttle. Boy, that's a lot of brake pedal. But one thing I like that I'm not seeing him pump the brakes. So he must feel pretty good about his braking power, not overheating those brakes.
One thing you have to be real careful of when you're riding with that left foot, you're laying on the pedal. You don't think you're applying any pressure, but just that foot laying on that pedal sometimes will cause you to drag the brakes and create some extra heat. I used to put a brake light on the dash so I'd know when I had my foot on the pedal.
I thought that was amazing. He didn't get wide open until almost at the start-finish line right there.
Kevin Harvick just went past our pole sitter for 8th place, Jamie.
And I talked to his crew chief, Chad Johnston, this morning, and Chad told me, realistically, we're a to a 7th place car, and on the long run, he felt like they were a half of a tenth off, and that's pretty much what we're seeing right now. Kyle just told his team, my drive off is bad. If they can help that, he'll get a little bit better, but right now he's just hanging on, losing spots.
How about our top 6? Every one of them is looking for their first Martinsville win, led by Brad Keselowski and his teammate Joey Logano. "52 laps complete at Martinsville. Brad Keselowski leading his teammate Joey Logano by 1.3 seconds. 2 Fords out front. Martin Truex third in a Toyota. The first Chevy is Chase Elliott in 5th. Now let's get our AARP keys to the drive from Jeff.
500 laps here at Martinsville. This is a long race, so being patient. You got to protect your car. You can't abuse those brakes. You can't wear out those tires early in a run. But at the same time, you got to recognize, when is it important to push hard, be aggressive? Is it on a restart, pressuring the competitor into making an easier pass by making a mistake, or lap traffic? And that inside lane on restarts is huge. It's a huge advantage. It will be a key in battling for stage wins and the race victory.
We're going to see that play out a lot during caution flag pit stops as drivers jockey to get an odd number position coming off pit road. That always gets entertaining.
3 wide at Martinsville.
Imagine that. All right, Kyle Busch talking about the high groove.
Yeah, we're wider than anybody in the white right now. There's nobody any farther above that, so just watch the marbles. You know what tire wear it looked like so far this weekend. If there's any reason to worry about rubber in that second groove in, holler. Yeah, shouldn't be a problem.
Kyle won here last year, and he's finished top 5 the last 3 Martinsville races.
And that's a bit of an unknown. The tire, it's a new tire we've come here this time with. And how is it going to wear? How's it going to hold up? What's the give up going to be? I think that's a learning experience all these teams are going through right now.
And this is why the drivers and the teams wanted a tire to lay rubber, because that widens out the groove. I mean, when was the last time we saw them going to the edge of the concrete? And by the way, Kyle Busch doesn't have to worry, because Kyle Larson's behind him going even higher than he is.
Yeah, I told Kyle, I said, you're not going to try to run the wall today, are you? I've never seen that. I've never seen that before.
Now, one driver who's not had much luck moving forward is Dale Earnhardt Jr., who started 19th. He's picked up 1 position, Matt.
Trying to use Jeff's main key of patience here at Martinsville. Junior's car balance just not coming in like he had hoped. The front plows, but he said that's not really that bad. It's the exit. He feels like the track bar adjustment he made inside the car to help the center has really hurt the exit. He's just trying to be patient so they can try to make a wedge adjustment on the next stop.
Well, I wish I could tell you how many times I came here and in practice tuned on the car and said, oh, I'm too tight in the center, I'm too tight in the center. And you free the center up and they drop the green, and all you are is loose in and loose off.
Loose.
So, crew chief, we're 60 laps into this run without a caution flag. What are your concerns at this point, Larry?
Well, I've already heard Daryl and Jeff talk about brakes a number of times, and I don't really worry about the brakes this early in a run, but when we run almost 60 laps nonstop without a caution, just look at how much brake is in that wheel right there. It fills that entire steel wheel up. So what's the concern? Well, the heat from those brakes transfers to that wheel, and the tire bead, that's what makes me nervous right there, the tire bead, and that's normally what we see fail. It's not a brake issue, it's a heat issue that transfers through the wheel to that tire bead on this long of a green flag run.
Yeah, Larry, because a lot of times, as you know, they'll start the race. I couldn't imagine any tape on a brake duct here, but I have seen guys try that, and you can get in trouble early on here until you get that tape off. You can get a lot of heat on those brakes unnecessarily.
Well, just like we saw in Phoenix, where they're carrying more speed because less downforce, less rear spoiler, they're using more brake. They're doing that here in Martinsville as well. Jamie?
Well, for the first time ever in his career, Jimmie Johnson does not have a top 5 in the first 5 races. He's hungry. I talked to him before he got in the car, and he felt pretty good about his chances, but you see the nose damage right there. He had damage early on, but it doesn't seem to be affecting his car. He is moving forward. forward. He's already gained 8 positions, and just saying he's a little bit free, but happy with the 48.
Hey, Jamie, he looks like a bulldog now. He's going somewhere. I'm telling you, he's been working his way through there. You're going to get a little body rash when you do that.
He's got that, what is that, an overbite? He's got that bottom lip pulled up, and he's ready to go.
He's going.
I'm not so sure that didn't help the performance. I didn't think that we saw anything real strong out of Jimmie Johnson in practice, but he has certainly shown a lot of strength here early in this
You know
race.
what I saw out of Jimmie Johnson? 9 wins.
Yeah, that's all it needs.
And when I see that, I say, I think I'm going to keep an eye on that guy.
Johnson up to 9th from 17th on the grid. Took him 50 laps to break into the top 10.
Now Jimmy's choosing a much different line, running right around the curve, really rolling through the center. And when I was Jimmy's teammate, he definitely drove different, set his car up different than I did. He always tried to roll that car right around the bottom, but yet found a great way to get drive off.
Yeah, get your turning done early. So that way when you're in the gas, back on the throttle, you're accelerating straight up off the corner and not laying on that right rear, getting it all mad and getting the car loose.
Yeah, it looked like right there Jimmie Johnson changed up his line. It looks like he has a good enough car. He can go about anywhere. Look at him, went to go inside of Kevin Harvick, chose to go wider, get a straighter shot off. You can tell the car's wiggling a little bit loose off of turn 2. Rolls right through the center here. Very good, though. He might try the outside on Harvick.
7th, 8th, and 9th place battle. Kyle Busch trying to close up on them. Meanwhile, Kyle Larson trying to hold off Eric Almirola back at 13th. Casey Kane just ahead.
And Mike, you can't, it appears that cars are running a second groove that we don't normally see here, but around that curve is still going to be your best friend. You got to run the shortest distance and grip.
Well, I know Kyle Larson cannot wait to get
Turn 3. Ricky Stenhouse goes around. He was under pressure from Paul Menard, and that'll put us under our first caution flag.
Try to get squared up.
Lap 70.
You're behind at 24.
A slow, lazy spin in turn number 3 for Ricky Stenhouse. Doesn't look like there was any contact from the rear.
One of the things happening right there, because of the brake ducts being so big on these cars, the cars don't turn to the right. And that's why he could not get the car turned to the right to get back up to speed. So he's lost at least 1 lap.
Yeah, and you don't want to run into the curve. You run down there and hit that curve, you'll bust up your splitter.
Now he and Menard were working to stay on the lead lap. Here's the leader coming, the white car in the background, Keselowski. And I did not see any contact.
I don't think there was, Mike. I didn't see any either. It looked like he may have driven in a little hard, maybe a little too much rear brake, and the car just came around. Right there, he's already sideways.
Yeah. I think there was a little bit of contact.
There was.
You know, the cars are already so light, very little grip in the rear in that spot.
He got a little loose, and then the 27 got into him.
Let's hear what Paul Menard said.
Well, I didn't mean to do that, but he pulled down in front of me and checked up.
And there's the story.
Yeah, that's what happened. I mean, you see the 17, it looked like he might have gotten a little loose before Paul got into him, but definitely a little contact.
But that's how easy and quick things happen here. You think one driver's going to do one thing and the other driver does something that you don't expect as well.
Ty Dillon will get the free pass. Pit road is open. Here they come. Chris Neville.
And Ryan Blaney pitting right in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Visually a tough box to get, but overall happy with this race car early in the run, saying that he gets the back end, it gets a bit too loose on entry later in that run, so he wants the car tightened up. 4 tires.
Matt and Brad Keselowski certainly appreciates the history and the heritage of winning here at Martinsville. He'd love to score a clock. He told Paul Wolfe the track is coming to him like they expected. No chassis adjustments on that too, Jamie.
And the 22 came in pitted from second, saying the car is driving, turning really well, just losing a little drive off. There'll be a 4-tire stop for the 22 all the way at pit out as we see his teammate Brad Keselowski making the turn, and the 42 continues to work on his car.
And 42 is having, I don't know what they're doing, making a lot of adjustments, I would assume.
And now he shoots off pit road as Team Penske leads the battle off pit road at lap 72. That was an eventful pit stop sequence because the speeding police nabbed Brad Keselowski too fast entering, along with Michael McDowell, Trevor Bayne on that graphic as well, and Joey Logano's team over the wall too soon. So the two leaders will restart in the back. Here's Logano coming in.
And these guys were already standing in the pit box. This is one of the toughest pit roads for the pit crews as well. They cannot see that car coming around, so they have to try to time it or listen to a spotter.
Yep.
And Ryan Blaney lost 16 spots when they hung a lug nut in the gun. So we restart with Truex the leader, Hamlin in second, Elliott, Harvick, Johnson, Kyle Busch, Casey Kane, and McMurray.
Well, I tell you, a guy that made a wild start there was Dale Jr. in that 88. He took him 3 wide, but he made it.
Curious to see what this does to the restarts. We saw the outside groove working pretty well for some drivers on the longer run. We see Chase Elliott working really hard to try to maintain that outside lane, and some others.
Harvick battling side by side with Elliott for third. Johnson and Kyle Busch right behind.
You know what I always like, Mike? Look at our top 5. Hamlin, 5 wins. Johnson, 5th, 9 wins. Harvick got a win here. Those guys, cream comes to the top here about as quicker than anywhere.
We went to caution with 6 drivers in front who never won at Martinsville. We come out of caution with the favorites up front. How about that? Chris.
Well, Kevin Harvick wasn't that happy with his race car yesterday in practice. Really relied on his teammates to come up with a setup for today. But the biggest problem he's having right now, communication problems between his pit crew and his spotter. Right now, the team trying to search for a channel where everything's going to work well for him for the rest of the race.
Go back and watch this restart, Mike. I tell you, I was watching that going off into turn 3 there. And Dale Jr., he was after it now. I'm telling you, he was aggressive.
Aggressive move on the 18 of Kyle Busch, getting down to the left rear. A little contact between him and Jimmy Johnson.
It's a lot of contact.
Those restarts are wild.
Yeah, jockeying for those positions is so important.
Watch Junior right here on that inside. He gets them 3 wide going down in there.
It looked like Matt Kenseth either just didn't get going or just had to check up. Of course, Newman didn't have any idea they were 3 wide at that point. It was too late to know. And that's on lap 82, folks, at 500.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I'm concerned about for Chase Elliott when I saw him really battling with the 4 car of Kevin Harvick on the outside, all it takes is being aggressive like that with the tires for 2-3 laps. That's all it takes to take a lot of life out of those tires for later in the run. So we'll be curious to follow that and see how that's affected him.
I always like to say you don't want to make your tires mad. You want to treat them like they're your best friend, because they are.
Ryan Blaney is flying. He restarted 20th after they hung a lug nut in the air gun. He's made up half of that deficit. He's already battling for 9th. This kid is poised to have a career day today.
Wouldn't it be something that, I mean, the Wood brothers over here in Stewart, just up the road, this is, I guess, their home track, you would say. They're all here today. Glenn, what's Glenn now?
91.
91 years old. Raced here back in 1953 in a Lincoln.
Yeah, this kid's shown a lot of talent.
Lincoln.
Got a fast race car today. See Kyle Busch making an outside move on the 24 Chase Elliott. It's exciting to see the outside lane working here today. I think has a lot of credit to Goodyear.
You just saw Jamie McMurray dive bomb Jimmy Johnson into turn 3 to take that spot. Now that's, you talk about aggressive, that was aggressive.
Yeah, that was aggressive and patience all at once.
It's always amazing to me how you can marry those two together in the same lap.
That guy to do that now, nice. It's going to get better once the rubber starts to lay down, Jimmy.
That guy in the 48, he's the total package. He's a guy that can do all those things, keep his cool, knows when to pick his fights. He'll be around at the end.
Well, what happened, he started pretty deep in the field, like 19th, I think, at the start of this race. So that immediately gives you the pace and the patience that you need early in the race to save your tires. Once you move up into that top 5 or 6 positions, the pace picks up. A lot harder to manage that now. So this will be a learning experience for all these drivers that were not starting this race in the top 5 or 6.
Got a real battle up front here for the lead. And that 11 car, we know is pretty darn good in practice. Just takes the lead away from Martin Truex Jr. going into 3. I know this last year, I think it was last year here when Denny Hamlin had a pretty good car and he wheel hopped going into turn 1. And I remember he was so disgusted and disappointed with himself. He said, that should never happen to me here. And I think he's got a little redemption on his mind today.
I've never seen any driver pick up Martinsville track quicker in a Cup car than Denny Hamlin. It has a lot to do with his experience in late models around this track, but that says a lot about his abilities and talents. Chris?
And Jeff, talking with his crew chief Mike Wheeler today, he said he's extraordinary at this racetrack. It's just something instinctive with his driving style. He's just so smooth on the brake pedal and the throttle. You look at those transitions from asphalt to concrete. He said he just takes care of the car and he takes care of the tires. And listening to him after that first run, he said a little bit tight early on, but he said his car has good long run speed.
Chris, you just got to treat the gas pedal and the brake pedal for the most part like you got an egg on your foot all the time. You cannot stab and jab. You got to be smooth like silk.
Kevin Harvick hunting Kyle Busch for third. Toyota's now 1, 2, 3. Hamlin, Truex, Busch ahead of Harvick and Elliott. Chevrolet, the official vehicle of NASCAR, is the most awarded car company 3 years in a row. Learn more at Chevrolet.com. Closing in on 100 laps at Martinsville Speedway. Looking at the nose of Chase Elliott's car in 6th place behind Jamie McMurray. Denny Hamlin's your leader. Martin Truex, Kyle Busch, 1, 2, 3, all within 1 second. 3 seconds back of the leader, Harvick, and wow, here, look at Blaney.
I saw that start to materialize down the front straightaway. They got checked up on a slower car, and the 21 of Ryan Blaney almost made it 3 wide going into turn 1, and he actually made contact with Jimmy Johnson, sent him up the racetrack, and made the pass on both him and McMurray. Oh, we got smoke coming out of the left rear of the 1 car. That's going to probably be a cut tire. I think he and the 48 made contact when Jimmy was made contact with the 21.
Can't play around with those left side tires. That left rear, that thing will blow out and you'll spin out.
Now here's how it all started about a lap and a half ago.
Well, McMurray made the wrong choice. He got behind the 83 and couldn't go anywhere, and that's when he got all bottled up. And here comes the 48 and the 21.
Watch the 21 just nicked the 48 right there. That's all it takes. That fender contact, knocking the fender in the left rear of the 1 McMurray, that's going to cause that tire to go down soon.
Now Corey LaJoie had been doing a good job of staying high every lap, trying to be out of the way of the leaders.
I don't think LaJoie really did anything wrong there.
McMurray just got behind him. He couldn't get out behind him.
Well, they're telling McMurray to take 1 more. That's risky.
Still there, outside short.
Well, that's a lot of fender rub.
Clear.
This is one of the tracks you'll risk it more than any other because you're going to go 2 laps down. When you come to pit road here, you're going to be at least 2 laps down.
Now after that exchange, Jimmy Johnson was not happy with Ryan Blaney. Jamie.
No, he said to the guys on the radio, he said, tell Blaney that wasn't very cool. Chad Canal said, I believe that is your job to do right now, brother. He's not going to listen to us.
That's great.
You can do more about it than we can.
Well, let's have another look here.
Yeah, I think Blaney had the opportunity to check up, be patient, but he took another opportunity there when Jimmy got up the racetrack and he said, no, I'm going to go ahead and stick my nose in there, and there just wasn't quite enough room to make contact.
If you leave a gap, if you leave enough room for somebody to get their nose under, they're going to take it, and most likely they're going to hit you in the process.
There was a whole lane there.
Oh, turn 1, there went the tire.
Oh, no.
Car 1, I mean.
That's not a risk that's worth taking.
Oh, no, the center.
Jamie McMurray's car is killed. He was 9th.
Boy, when that left side tires, when they're rubbing like that and the pressure's low, and you just, man, that's what happens. He killed that car.
I saw the same thing out of Austin Dillon happen here last year. The exact same result as well.
Watch this, Jeff. I mean, this is just like all of a sudden that left rear goes, and I mean, you're at max speed when that tire blew out.
There's nothing he could have done other than come to pit road.
And Jamie McMurray had potentially a top 5 car today.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. He had a great race car, and he's great here at Martinsville.
Now we're under 25 to go in stage 1. Caution is out as they pick up Jamie McMurray's car. Larry Mack, what are you looking at?
This is going to be interesting because we're going to go back racing with just a little over 15 laps to go in this stage, and we still have 24 drivers on the lead lap. So I think you're going to see some guys with only 30 laps on their tires up near the front, maybe like Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Truex. I think they'll stay out trying to win the stage right now.
Well, do you win the race or do you win the stage, Larry?
It's a long race, though.
It's a long way to go, yeah. That's the way I look at it.
Cole Witt gets the free pass on this, the second caution of the afternoon.
I just never let many circumstances dictate to me what I did until I got to 250, 300 laps. Then I started worrying.
And let's listen in on Ryan Blaney's team.
Man, I mean, I don't know what the 48 wants me to do. I'm inside of him, but I'm not going to let him run me down to the curb. So, no, that's not on you, man. You're fine, man. You did good.
I've got to side with Blaney. He was right against the curb. He had a whole lane open, and off he went.
I don't disagree with that, except for there was a lap car they were all trying to maneuver around that was bogging things up.
Could have been a little more patient. You're right.
Three sides every story.
Jimmie Johnson stays out. Pit road open. Chris.
And Denny Hamlin very happy with his race car, telling him, guys, let's not make any changes here. Just right sides. Matt.
Paul Perrin felt like it was better to save a set of tires and stay out. Kyle Busch, he wanted to come looking at the bigger picture, take another small adjustment on this 18 car. He, like so many others, been fighting free, especially on exit. Jamie?
The 24 Chase Elliott just been tight since the start of the race, getting frustrated inside the car too, talking about Kevin Harvick saying, if he keeps brake checking me, I'm going to wreck him. I don't care. They're trying to keep their driver calm. A 4-tire stop for the 24.
Martin Truex stayed out as the race leader. So did Jimmie Johnson, Brad Keselowski, and Ty Dillon. Holding out for stage points as we're under the second caution of the day in Martinsville. 18 laps to go in stage number 1. 4 drivers stayed out to gamble on stage wins and points. Truex, Johnson, Keselowski, who served a speeding penalty on the first caution, and Ty Dillon were last on pit road at lap 73. The rest of the field, beginning with Denny Hamlin, were on pit road just now at lap 109.
Okay, well, the 48 has what? The 78 has what? He has a win. The 2 has what? He has a win. So they're gambling. They're just, you know, roll the dice, see what happens.
It's all part of the new NASCAR with stage racing. Larry, let's take a look at today's Liberty Mutual Insurance Worry Less strategy.
Well, what I'm telling my driver, I know it's hard to pass out there on that racetrack, but there's several teams, they have premium pit stalls. If you look at these 3 right here, that's where Larson, Chase Elliott, and Joey Logano are pitting. Right here is Martin Truex Jr. That 78 car. He has that opening right there. So we got good pit selection, premium pit stalls. We're going to make up some ground on pit road.
Yeah, Larry, we also looked at, Jeff and I did, the 2 car has a great pit stall as well. Right here on the straightaway, and the box in front of him is now open.
All right, now Kyle Busch will come out 9th after a rough pit stop. Matt?
Mike, it was the perfect storm for Busch's pit stop. Changer on the back. Jake Simonera slipped coming around the right rear corner of the race car. You see it there. And then when he came around, he hit the lugs in that left rear. And then the tire hung. A lot of teams have told me, coming here to Martinsville, the cars are so low, it takes a pump and a bump to get that left rear up off the ground where they can pull it off.
Speaking of pull it off, Jamie McMurray's car is going off on the hook, and what a mess it is. Whoa!
Yo!
Close call in Kyle Larson's pit.
We talk about athletes, those guys right there, those pit crew members are serious athletes.
Hire a guy that can jump over the car.
So here's the situation, and there's McMurray's car, and they're not going to get that one fixed on the 5-minute crash clock.
I was going to say, there's a lot more damage happening to it right now.
They're tearing it up, taking it back to the garage.
I think it hit the wall on the way down the front straightaway also.
Yep.
And they went, I don't know why they went there. I guess they couldn't get the car turned around.
Yikes. Race fans, today you can ride along with the 22 throughout today's race with the AutoZone Car Channel. You go to foxsportsgo.com or download now, and this is the view you will see. Our coverage down in the center of the screen. Lap times, lower left, positions, speed, telemetry. And Joey smiling at you from the upper right, pumping those Duralast brakes. All right.
That's very cool. A lot of great information there. That's a great way to watch the race and get a lot of good information.
So 1 to go. Here's the situation. The front 4 did not pit. Truex, Johnson, Keselowski, Ty Dillon. The next drivers in line took 2 tires. Hamlin, Larson, Earnhardt, Austin Dillon, Paul Menard. Everyone from Ryan Blaney in 12th place on back got 4 tires, and we have 14 laps to go in stage 1.
We're going to find out right here how bad those guys with new tires like Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson want to win this stage, because they've got the grip and the tires to do it. But they're going to have to push and shove a little bit to make it happen.
But you know what? That's what I love about this stage racing thing. It's just turned it. It's turned the early and middle stage of these races into just chaotic. You don't know what's going to happen.
Especially when the caution comes out where it just did.
Yeah.
Green flag.
Larson made a nice aggressive move there, getting down the inside lane. Talk about how important that is.
Got down in front of Dale Jr. there. I'm not sure that was planned, but it worked out well.
Now it's the Dillon brothers up on the outside. Ty in the 13, Austin in the 3. 3 wide. Kyle Busch. Here he comes.
Coming through.
Everything is great.
He made it. I'll tell you one thing, though. Up front here, I'm watching that 78. Man, he gets a launch off. Watch him come off the corner. He can come up off the corner.
Oh, little battle going on here between Keselowski and Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy squeezed him a little bit coming off of turn 4. They made some contact.
Jimmy just leaves just enough room for you to stick that nose in there, and man, that's dangerous.
Right now, Chase Elliott 10th. 10 drivers will get stage points. 10 laps from this time around.
Mike, the worst thing you hear as a driver is he's looking. He's looking. Man, don't tell me he's looking. Is he there or not?
But this just goes to show you how he's seeing behind him. Denny Hamlin's coming with those fresh tires. He wants to push as hard as he can. Try to wear the tires down on the 2 car of Keselowski and not let that 11 get by him. But it's too late now.
Yeah,
that's right. You know you're going to get another set of tires in 10 laps. Burn them down.
That's right.
Get all you can get right here.
I got room right behind him if you need it. 11 only. 3 back to the 42.
That's the 48 spotter telling
Clear,
him.
clear if you need it. Clear.
Got a hole there. Big Earl.
All right, it'll be 8 laps to go in stage 1. Here's Jamie.
And Jamie McMurray has been checked and released. There was a lot of contact out there, but what was the final straw that led to the eventual tire rub?
Yeah, well, I think the 48 got into the left rear and it knocked the body in on the tire. And I was kind of leaving it up to the team whether we pit or not, because I knew they could get a better idea what it looked like and maybe where it was hitting the tire. And then it somewhat quit smoking, which made me think that maybe the body had relieved itself. But then I blew a left rear tire going in the corner, and you know it's like a no-win. If you stay out and you blow a tire and you wreck, your day's done. If you pit here and you lose 2 or 3 laps, I don't think that you can get those back. So we made the decision to stay out and ended up blowing a tire.
Thanks, Jamie. Glad you're okay. And Dale Jr., the 88, spun on track, guys.
Yeah, he was in 10th place and spun coming off turn 2 down the back straightaway.
But if you watched coming down the front straightaway, he and Blaney make some contact. You see these 2 cats racing pretty hard right here.
Look at how,
right there, Dale Jr. tries to move over. Blaney is there, says, excuse me.
But how did that cut the right rear of the 88? I thought it would cut the left front.
I don't know.
Did they make contact again here?
Let's see what happens here off the corner.
No, it's already.
Where it happened.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if that was a cut right rear tire.
I don't know. It wasn't a cut tire, and I'm not sure the 21 didn't push him.
What did Dale Jr. say?
I felt like they didn't play a rule on the front stretch. He's trying to hook me in the fence.
Oh, you know what?
It got tight. Okay.
It looks to me. It looks to me like Junior got a little loose, and the left front of the 21 of Ryan Blaney just clipped him enough right as he got loose, sent him the rest of the way around.
He helped him get looser.
Those 2 had a dust up at Phoenix. Blaney sent Junior flowers.
I'd be a little concerned.
Better call the florist.
I'd be a little concerned with that left front on the 21 of Ryan Blaney. I think that's going to be the bigger problem here.
But you heard Dale Jr. take responsibility, said he picked up a push, lost his forward drive off. Blaney got into him. We're going to have a quickie yellow. Now that means that lap down cars can also pit this time by as pit road opens, because they're going to try to restart this before the end of stage 1.
Now I'm thinking that some of these cars, like the 20 of Matt Kenseth, Casey Kane, they're going to pit now and not come in at the end of the stage.
Now remember the 5-minute crash clock, and Dale Jr. is on it. That begins when you enter pit road, and the time it takes to run pit road at pit road speed is fairly consistent track to track, 25 to 35 seconds. So that gives them about 4.5 minutes to work on the car, repair any crash damage, and then all Junior has to do is get back up to minimum pace under green flag racing, minimum speed, and then the crash clock and its effect goes away.
I tell you what, that's very minor damage for Martinsville.
And Junior stays on the lead lap. Here's some audio from Ryan Blaney's team.
We'll be in the pit for 4, and then he drives right up. I cannot stop. Hard racing, bud. All good.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't think that was Ryan Blaney's fault on the front straightaway. It did look like Dale Jr. came up a little bit and they made contact. That was just a racing incident.
Yep.
I think Jr. kind of took, you know, the blame for that. What happened off of turn 2 is the one that's maybe a little questionable.
They will restart with 3 to go in stage 1. Truex Keselowski, Hamlin Johnson, Kyle Busch Larson, Austin Dillon Elliott, Ty Dillon Blaney. Here we go for 3 laps.
Well, just a great launch by that 78 car. Brought the 11 with him. Keselowski's going to try to fight back on the outside. Not sure it's going to work.
We're going to find out just how good Martin Truex Jr.'s car is right here, because he's going up against fresher tires on the 11, a really good race car of the 2 of Keselowski. If he can hold these guys off, I'm going to be pretty impressed.
I think his best friend is Keselowski in the 2, because the 11 just can't quite clear the 2.
And you know, DW, we heard where Denny Hamlin said, and I've seen this out of this car in the past, he doesn't have a lot of speed early in a run, but boy, is it good later in a run.
And you have to be careful right there. You'll push
he
up.
made contact to the left
made
rear there,
contact.
too.
You just have to be careful going in under somebody like that.
Boy, you worry so much about cutting left rear tires like we saw with McMurray earlier. The contact, the 42, the 48.
Boy, that 42
Johnson got
is
into
hammering
Blaney.
on that 48.
And
Woo!
here comes Larson. Ty Dillon gets turned. They're going to be 3 wide into turn 3, fighting for that 10th last point-paying spot. Truex wins the stage. Hamlin, Busch, Keselowski, Elliott, Larson, Blaney, Johnson, Dillon.
Woo! Do stage points mean anything, my friend?
I would
Yes,
say
they
so.
do.
Clint Boyer,
I'll tell you.
gets the last stage point.
Boyer poured that thing down into 3 and made it and got himself a top 10.
9th playoff point of the year for Martin Truex, most of all drivers. He wins stage 1. Well, that was exciting. We've just about had a come apart here in the booth about leaving the door open versus holding the inside versus who's got track position, and Martin Truex Jr. just drives away from all of it.
Oh, he's
How
getting
about that?
that car is coming off the corner better than anybody right now. And yeah, we were just looking at that replay, and it just seems like if you leave much opening on the bottom, you're going to get somebody under you and into you.
Yeah, they're not giving an inch. We're only 130 laps into this race. All right, let's watch
this great aerial coverage.
So the 11 goes in a little bit too deep, makes contact with the 2. The 18, the 848, 42, that's a domino effect right there. Now they come off onto the front straightaway. Larson tries to make it 3 wide. Jimmy tries to shut the door.
Yeah, Larson said, I don't think I can. Whoa, I can make it.
Not a lot of patience, not a lot of give and take happening. And then contact between the 14 and the 13.
Now watch the 14. Now watch him go down in there, and he just drives in there and gets himself a top 10.
Man,
well, you just saw one piece of footage which shows why every race fan should buy a ticket to this place.
Woohoo!
Because this is what happens here all day long.
That's why I'm standing on my feet right now.
That's right. We haven't sat down
yet.
Nope.
On the edge of my seat.
All right, now Martin Truex has not been in the pit since lap 72, nor has Brad Keselowski or Jimmy Johnson or Ty Dillon. They're likely to come, but what about all these drivers who pitted at 109?
Staying out.
Looks like some of them are going to stay out. Kyle Busch stays out. So does Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano. Here come the rest of the leaders to pit road. Chris.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin debating about what to do. He knows he has a good long run car, but he said on that short run he just doesn't have any grip. The team's deciding, let's start doing some adjustments now in case we have a shootout late.
A great call by Cole Perrin as far as staying out. Saved a set of tires for later, but also they scored those precious playoff points for winning that stage. Jamie, no changes on the 78.
And the 42's been pretty good after the air pressures came up. Just a 4-tire stop here. Happy with it. Filling him up with Sunoco fuel in that #1 pit box. It's a good stop.
Here's the Sunoco race off pit road. Austin Dillon picks up 5 positions with a 2-tire change. So does his teammate at RCR, Paul Menard.
Let's see what our stage winner has to say here, Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr., it's DW. Got me, buddy?
Hey, old buddy. What's happening?
Seems like we just did this last week, but man, your car is getting up off the corner like a rocket. You just won that stage. How's it looking out there?
Oh, definitely proud of that. It's not been one of our better racetracks. I feel like we've been getting better and better, you know, each time we come back with this group. So really proud of everybody for the race car they've given me today. And you know, it's just trying to keep up with the racetrack. This place changes a lot. So I don't think we've had the best car yet, but I feel like we're in the hunt. And if we can do the right things all day, you never know what can happen here.
You got that right, buddy. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good day.
26 cars on the lead lap at the end of stage 1, won by Mayetta, New Jersey's Martin Truex. We get set to begin stage 2 at Martinsville. Let's go to Chris Neville at the eBay Motors pit box.
Well, Mike, now that we're on the short tracks, one thing we see in pit lane is brake dust. Lots and lots of brake dust. And as these tire changers are trying to do 11-second stops, that brake dust in the air and in their eyes is not something they want to see. So one thing crew chiefs will do is tell their driver, shut off those brake fans before you get in the box. Try not to stir up that brake dust that way. Also, the teams have developed air guns that the exhaust doesn't stir up that brake dust. As you see crew members on the right side of the car, crew members on the other side of the wall, they're blowing off the left side wheels.
Thanks, Chris. Ready for the restart. 6 drivers stayed out and did not pit at the end of stage 1. Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott front row. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Eric Jones, Trevor Bayne. They did not pit, so they'll be up front for this restart as they head for the Geico restart zone at turn 4.
Boy, this is going to shake things up right here.
Man.
Green flag.
It was a nice aggressive move by Chase Elliott to get that jump off of turn 2, get ahead of the 21 of Ryan Blaney and get down to that bottom lane.
And look for the lead.
Yeah.
Not that time, but
Mike, I think this is when you evaluated the situation and you take track position over tires, maybe.
He might get inside of the 18. Well, he got into the inside through turns 1, 2. Something about those Joe Gibbs racing cars, they just don't take off. Uh-oh, we've got trouble with the 19 of Suarez.
Heavy left front damage.
I hope he learned from McMurray and what happened to them when they had that tire rubbing. They need to get to pit road right away.
Pit this time, Daniel. Pit this time. Pit this time.
He's had a rough weekend, I tell you. Wrecked his car in practice, struggled in practice.
Yeah, that was just one of those accordion type features on the restart. Caught up Suarez. He will go on the 5-minute crash clock. He was 28th.
I think they can beat that out, but they got to get some clearance around that tire.
Here's a look at the restart.
Yeah. Somebody checked up there, kind of wheel hopped. Somebody, it's just a domino effect. Somebody, we got change for the lead right here with Chase Elliott going underneath Kyle Busch.
Got underneath Kyle coming off turn 2 and made it stick.
I think yesterday running that truck race here for Chase Elliott, it gave him a lot of confidence, and he's driving really, really well today.
Well, I'd also say something about those Gibbs cars. I was saying this earlier. They just don't take off very good. They're really good on the long runs, have good, drive off, and keep the tires underneath them for longer runs, but not on the short runs.
Chase Elliott started yesterday's truck race from the pole and drove to victory over defending series champ Johnny Sauter.
Started on the front row today, but I tell you, a guy that is just driving the wheels off his car, I don't know how long the wheels will last, is at 21. Yep. He is in the hunt, man, and he is trying. He said, I got everybody from Stuart, Virginia here watching. I'm going to put on a show for them.
Kyle Larson and Danica Patrick, as Larry mentioned, back on the lead lap after a free pass, and now running top 15 ahead of Jimmy Johnson and Austin Dillon.
Something about this place that really suits Danica Patrick. She does such a great job here.
Joey Logano to third.
I think Danica is just good here because she's not overly aggressive, and she knows how to put the gas down to break down. I think some of that IndyCar road racing experience maybe pays off for her here.
And see, there's a perfect example of showing some patience. She tried to squeeze Jimmy Johnson down like what we've seen others do, but she gave it up as they got to the corner. Jimmy did a nice job staying off her left rear, and they went through there side by side, no problem.
But as you watch them battle, her car is good on the outside lane.
Yep.
I mean, as good as anybody who's been running the outside in this segment of the race.
She's been in the top 10 or 15 most of, top 15 most of the early part of this race.
I think Jimmy Johnson saying the same thing about Danica Patrick.
Kyle Busch wants the lead back and gets it in turn 2.
Well, this again was part of my concern. You know, it's nice to see Chase Elliott lead his first laps here at Martinsville, get out front there. But we've seen where he's really faded on the longer runs, and the 18 car of Kyle Busch has really been much stronger. So this is going to really be a great lesson for Chase to follow one of the best around here, Kyle Busch.
Now, how about the 72 of Cole Witt? He used a free pass to get back on the lead lap. He's got fairly fresh tires. He is right in the mix here in 14th. Good run.
Absolutely. We sometimes overlook Cole Witt and his talents. He's a very talented race car driver. Drives a lot of different race cars to get here. And, that team is certainly not one of the teams that we think about as being one of the top teams. That's an awesome job that he's doing right now.
But, Jeff, what do we always say about this place? It's a driver's racetrack. A driver can make a difference here. How you drive this track, how you get on the gas, how you get off the brakes, that can make a huge difference here.
Now, back in that earlier dust-up, things had to get calmed down for team number 48 by Chad Knaus.
All right, so take it easy. Earl, first off, on a restart, I don't want you to say it's on him when he's in the second row, right? Secondly, calm down when you're calling inside and out. It's fine to tell they're inside, it's fine to tell they're outside, but do it in a calm nature. Okay.
I mean, that's a veteran crew chief right there, recognizing, some things. And I mean, these guys have all been together. Earl Warman and Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, they've been together, working together for a long time. They know one another very, very well.
But see, I think Chad recognized that Jimmy's getting beat around out there quite a bit. The last thing he wants to do is get Jimmy all riled up or upset. So let's keep it calm, Earl. Let's keep it calm.
It's kind of like when there's chaos in the production truck. The producers and directors, they don't yell at us. They want to keep us calm.
I've never heard that.
Well, so I've been told.
I've never heard that on my headset.
Occasionally. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is coming to the front. He passed Ryan Newman for 9th. Moving up on Casey Kane, his teammate right now. Restarted 12th. He's picked up 4 spots. Matt?
Mike, success at Martinsville, a lot of the times it's just your mental approach and outlook. When things go bad, try to keep your composure, and then sometimes hydration always seems to come into the mix.
Who turned us around over there? That was your neighbor. Oh, man. I think he was angry that we pitched him a little bit on the front stretch. Yeah, I know he was. Oh, gotta damn, make a better trade than that. That ain't no good trade there. I feel like I kind of owed him a little bit more.
But see, you know what I love about Dale Jr.? He's having fun.
That sounded like fun.
He's having a good time out there. He's enjoying driving his car. He's keeping his cool. And I tell you, don't count that kid out. I mean, he's still right here in the top, what? He's in an 8th place. Don't count him out.
Also, what I like, obviously, he really has a good nature about Ryan Blaney, young, talented driver out here, and they get along really well, or they would not be able to handle that situation quite that well.
Well, if you sent me flowers, I'd have we'd get along better too.
Earnhardt now moving on Kane for 7th, Matt.
And then Junior laughed and says, by the way, no more free beer for him.
Yeah, right.
There's causes and there's effects.
Matt Kenseth coming to the inside on Austin Dillon, and there is Martin Truex in 11th spot. Make that, 11th spot, 10th now. He's the first car with 4 new tires. That's Truex, the 78, and restarted 16th. He's gained 6 positions.
Again, I think that was the whole thing. Let's go to Chris. He got a report on 21.
Well, Ryan Blaney trying to decide whether he's going to come to pit lane or not. We're going to think back to that first pit stop in the race. They lost 16 spots. Well, he's fought his way back to the front. But right now, a little bit of damage on the left rear, leaning on that tire. He keeps reporting to the team that he's got a little bit of smoke in the cockpit and definitely can still smell it. So the team has told him, you decide whether you need to come or not.
No, I don't think that's from the left rear. I think it's from the left front, from that contact that he had with Dale Jr. earlier.
Still got the letters on the tire, so I wouldn't worry about that. The back looks pretty worn. No Goodyear on the back, so I don't see a lot of smoke, so I kind of would let it go for a while.
Here's Brad Keselowski moving on Danica Patrick for 15th place. Keselowski restarted 20th. 164 laps complete, 35 of 130 in stage 2.
NASCAR from Martinsville on FS1, and let's get a quick KFC Georgia Gold race break as Kyle Busch is your leader with Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers, and Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin winless this season. But remember, Busch got his first win in this race last year. Denny Hamlin's won here 5 times.
Yeah, and Busch also won practice yesterday. His car was the talk of the garage area, and of course, Hamlin's experience here, you knew he would be near the front.
Kyle Larson, pole sitter, who won last week, led the first 23 laps, lacking long run speed, finished outside the stage points for the first time this season.
Yeah, and you can see here he's battling with Chris Buescher, Ryan Newman. He's not running well on the longer runs. His car's slipping and sliding. Luckily, the track's widened out. He's finding some more grip up top. Maybe that'll pay off later.
And earlier, Ford's trying to win for the first time here since 2002. We saw Brad Keselowski pit road speeding penalty on the first stop after leading 48 laps, and then Joey Logano, the crew over the wall too soon on the first stop, came in second at the time.
Yeah, but he's rebounded to third, has Logano, and I love the speed of the 2-car, Brad Keselowski. Don't think that these 2 Fords won't be a part of the equation before this thing ends up today.
And Martin Truex Jr. has already won this year. Plus, he leads in stage victories now. He won the first stage here. He's got 4 total for the year. He's the only driver who has driven for the cycle, or if you call it a trifecta, and he has a chance to do it again if he can win the second stage and win a race.
Yeah, this car's strong, and Martin's historically not great here. I'll admit that, but I think he's got something special today. He can hang on and maybe get it done.
And he seems to be able to handle whatever problems are coming his way. Let's listen in on how he handles adversity.
It's definitely been a lot more fun the last 2 seasons to do what we've done. But I think all those lessons and all those things I learned when I was struggling, when I was going through some bad seasons, gave me a lot of perspective and made me appreciate what I have going on now.
That's your KFC Georgia Gold race break. And Mike, we've already had here before the second stage more leaders in today's race than we had in all of last year at Martinsville.
Good point, Chris. Kyle Busch out front of Chase Elliott by 0.8 of a second now. Joey Logano 2 seconds back. He'd knocked that down to 1 3/4. But now fading a little bit while working traffic. Ryan Blaney continues to impress in 4th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now in 5th. Eric Jones, the rookie, in 6th. And here's the 7th place battle. Trevor Bayne, Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Johnson.
Kenseth's really been struggling, but right now he's in the best shape I've seen him all day. He's up there in 8th spot. 48 seemed to be a little better, though. Looks like he's closing, Jamie.
Yeah, the 48's been a ping pong ball at times. He has damage to the right side, to the nose. He even got frustrated using some choice words when talking about the 21 and the 42 today. But he's hanging on, keeping his cool now, saying he's just a little bit loose in that 48, but overall, good speed.
You know what, Jamie, is funny about Jimmy Johnson? I got 80 wins and 7 championships. Could you give me a little respect?
Well, there's some respect.
There it is.
Kenseth gives it to him.
There you go.
You asked, he answered.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
But that, we talk about drivers playing a big role in their cars and the longer runs and this racetrack. And to me, that's why Matt Kenseth's starting to come on strong. Why Jimmy Johnson's starting to come on strong. Denny Hamlin. Now we're getting into a much longer run where you as a driver can make a difference. How you enter the corner, how much speed when you roll through the center, how you pick up the throttle. Watch that pay off for these guys on these longer runs.
Well, you remember last year, Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth, they had the 2 best cars, and they were swapping that restarts around. One would let the other in front until the end. When the end got there, the 20 got left out to dry.
1 car out of the race from crash damage, Jamie McMurray, and a lot of incidental damage among those still running. What a beautiful sight, Martinsville Speedway, from our Goodyear aerial coverage. Everything Goodyear learns making tires for the grueling demand of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. Beautiful day in South Central Virginia, where Kyle Busch is our Toyota top performer. He leads by 1.3 seconds. Eric Jones, the rookie, in second. Matt Kenseth ninth. Martin Truex on new tires, working his way back up through the pack. And Denny Hamlin hasn't moved much since the restart. He is currently 18th. Chris?
Well, Eric Jones having another good day. Talking with his crew chief, Chris Daly, said typically we've had a top 10 car each and every weekend. We just need to close these races out. We've talked a lot about problems in pit lane. He said it's both driver and crew. He said Eric needs to be much better about getting into and getting out of the box. The pit crew, they're new together, so still building chemistry. He said that a lot of times they're doing good stops, but when they have a problem, they just aren't recovering quick enough.
Well, he's having a great run here as Jimmie Johnson passes for 6th place. Jones now 7th. Keselowski closing. And Danica Patrick in 18th right now is the highest placed of all 4 Stewart-Haas Fords.
Yeah, that's, I mean, she runs good here. We've seen her have great finishes and performances here, but still, that's pretty surprising when you think of Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, as well as Clint Bowyer. You would think that those 3 guys would be leading the way here.
Well, here's a knot of traffic Kyle Busch is coming up upon, beginning with Paul Menard, and most of these are lead lap cars. Remember, Menard and his teammate Austin Dillon are on this 2 tire change cycle. They change lefts on one caution, rights on the other. I don't believe that they've taken 4 tires on a stop recently.
And Mike, this is about as hard as you have to race people right here. When they're trying to stay on the lead lap and you're trying to get around them, their car's not very good. Your car's not very good. It makes for some real interesting racing.
Well, plus you've got side-by-side action between Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and the 41 of Kurt Busch. So all these cars behind them, including the leaders coming, is really bottling things up.
And that is for position. That's for 23rd. Stenhouse stayed on the lead lap when he got some crash damage. We also saw Daniel Suarez go to the pits with damage, and he came back on track 3 laps down.
Yeah, Suarez right in front of Kyle Busch right now. He's driving harder, and I think I've seen him drive all day trying to stay on the, not lose another lap. He's making some passes, which I hadn't seen him be able to do.
Something just ahead of this group that I just saw. Cole Witt was battling with the 4 car. Kevin Harvick has passed him and pulled ahead of him.
Yeah, he has pulled away. You know, we talk about Ryan Blaney having a career day. Here's another one. Alpine California's Cole Witt is having the best race I've seen him have, probably in his Cup career.
Yeah, he's running 21st right now and on the lead lap and passing cars.
Austin Dillon battling Kyle Larson for 14th. Dillon, we're told, has not had a 4-tire stop since lap 72. They've been doing 2 and 2 and running well.
It's working for him.
Yep. He's doing a nice job with it.
.63 laps to go in stage 2. And 2 Stewart-Haas Fords battle. Matt?
Speeds are definitely coming up for Clint Bowyer. They've been working on a lot of different things, Mike. They had damage to the right front. Teams utilized the different manufacturers' database, and they used the Ford Tech trailer. They saw pictures, so that way Ira Joe Hussey knew how he needed to get that tire off and how to fix that fender. But right now, making some gains. They've pushed in a spring rubber that has really helped the car come to life. He's just mired back in traffic.
Also making gains, Chase Elliott. He is now right to the back bumper of Kyle Busch, who pulls away and has Suarez as a buffer as they begin to work lap traffic here, trying to put Ty Dillon 1 down.
Yeah, and what happens when you're the first car 1 lap down or about to go a lap down, you're going to fight that leader a lot harder than you were going to fight the 2nd and 3rd and 4th place car. So you look for these guys to put up that fight, make it hard on Kyle Busch, but then you'll see the 24 Chase Elliott, the 22 Logano kind of come through there a little bit easier.
I just like that you could get to the outside. I saw Kyle Larson running right out next to the edge of the concrete a little bit ago. You see the 18 of Kyle Busch. He's going around these guys on the outside. We haven't seen that a lot here through the years. That outside's working pretty good right now.
Well, and Chase Elliott trying to run the inside, but the lapped cars have their choice of lane, and Chase is not working his way through as well as easily as Kyle did on the outside.
Well, we saw Kyle work the outside early in this race. His car is definitely working really nice up there. And I believe right now, as rubber's laid down, I think that outside lane is maybe even the preferred lane.
Yeah, you see that real dark looking line through the corner. That's rubber. And that gets slimy and slick, and the car doesn't want to get the grip that you need. Move above that, there might be something there.
I think you're right, Jeff. The outside is the preferred lane if your car is handling like Kyle Busch's is.
When I've been watching Chase Elliott, he really is working the bottom. So he obviously likes his car to be right up next to that yellow curb. So they've got their car working good there. That's what works good for the rhythm that he's in. Not so much that outside, and that's important to have a car that you can search around. Let's see, he goes to the outside here of Kurt Busch. Let's see if he can make this work.
You have to convince yourself that that outside will work, because you're accustomed to running right around the bottom against that curb. So now you got to venture out there a little bit and say, oh yeah,
he
might be a little bite there.
I think he learned a little something right there. He went to the outside, made that pass pretty easy. You can see he's got a little damage to his nose as well. Just kind of knocked that splitter up.
Jamie?
I'm really impressed by what Chase Elliott is doing today, and talking to both him and his crew chief. They both acted like they didn't have the speed in the car. They didn't have a car capable of top 5. Top 10 would be a success, and here he's been running top 5, and he's really not talking on the radio. No complaints in the 24. Happy since the start of the race.
Well, not happy is Happy Harvick. He just went a lap down to Kyle Busch. Remember, his crew chief, Rodney Childers, is not on the pit box. He's serving a one-race suspension for a technical infraction. Daniel Knost is calling the shots for Kevin Harvick, who just not quite up to speed today. Chris.
And Mike, talking to Daniel Knost this morning, he said yesterday in practice they just couldn't find anything that Kevin really liked about the race car. So they were talking to their teammates, trying to find something that they could do. He said, we really kind of tried to put something together and see if it was going to work today. Obviously, it's not. Kevin Harvick saying, the car is just so bad in the center. I don't have any speed in the center. And then as I touch the throttle getting off the corner, I just lose the back end.
Chase Elliott going by Harvick.
Mike, I tell you, a car that's really got a good long run car, I believe, is that 48. He just went around the 2 car of Keselowski, and he's right on the back bumper now at Dale Jr. And that 48 car looks pretty darn good.
We saw Keselowski, one of the best cars early stage of this race. So that's not an easy car to pass.
No, Hendrick Motorsports looking for its first win of the season. 5 races in. The last time they went this deep in a season without a victory was in 2012 when Jimmie Johnson got them their first win of the year at Darlington in race 11.
Well, they have 24 wins here. This might be a pretty good place to get another.
Kind of tough, you know, when you've set that kind of a benchmark for yourself to live up to those expectations, but they seem to find a way to do it.
Johnson under fire from Keselowski.
Yeah, they battled, and Jimmy got by Keselowski there a bit ago, and Dale Jr. as well, but now he's packing a fight.
Well, he made that look really easy. I don't know if Jimmy just gave that up to him, wants to see what his car is doing.
Well, they're the biggest movers since the last restart. Keselowski from 20th to 5th, and Jimmie Johnson from 19th to 6th. Clint Bowyer's picked up 10.
And Jeff, I watched Jimmie Johnson at 48. He still runs the traditional right on the bottom, run the curb, come up off the corner low as possible, get the most forward bite. That seems to be a good way to get around this racetrack even now.
Yeah, we watched Denny Hamlin work on Austin Dillon, kind of the opposite of what you just said. Watch how he diamonds the corner. He'll go up a little bit, get a little nudge there. That's a great way to make a pass. Just get up there and stalk them and make them look in their rear view mirror, bump them around a little bit, get them frustrated. Chris?
Well, Jeff, we know that 11 car was good on the long run earlier, but Denny Hamlin just kind of stuck back there right now. After that last stop, they tried to adjust the car, make it better for the short run, but Denny's saying, we lost everything. I have no drive getting off the corner.
Ooh. Yeah, he was so good on the longer runs, and you know, that's what happens sometimes. You think, hey, all we got to do is work on the shorter runs. Let's make an adjustment, and then it hurts. It doesn't improve your short run, and it hurts your long run. So I bet look for them to make that adjustment back.
I watched our leader, the 18 car, Jeff. He seems to straddle that rubber, that black streak, and then 1 and 2, he seems to run just right through the middle of it, kind of straddles it.
I just believe, DW, that is the way to have a good car in the long run. You're not using and abusing the brakes, the tires. It just, you have options on passing lap cars or other cars. To me, I really like what I'm seeing out of Kyle Busch.
Kyle pulling down on Cole Witt, who is working hard to stay on the lead lap. 44 laps to go in stage 2 at Martinsville. Kyle Busch out in front by 1.1 seconds. We'll go side by side.
I'm here to demonstrate the incredible stopping power of Duralast GT brake pads. And that is Joey Logano coming at me at more than 200 miles per hour. Nailed it!
Introducing the new line of Duralast GT brakes, sold only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Get the ball inside early. We're just moments away from adding a new chapter to college basketball's most storied rivalry.
I was made in the shadows of greatness, shaped by the hands of legacy, forged in the fires of racing. I've been challenged, tested, and proven. Whether it's on that track or off, the truth is, what you're made of is what you're made to do.
I'm a simple man. All I need is a comfortable chair. And KFC's delicious new Georgia Gold, available at extra crispy chicken, a chicken little sandwich, or extra crispy tenders. It's finger-licking gold.
Got it, Scott. Burn down, bud, burn down. Sit behind you.
In a race that stimulates all 5 senses, you're gonna need every single one of them. Some say it's just a scribble, but when someone finally asks for it, you know you've made it.
We're going good enough to win. Let's do it.
Lots of action at Martinsville. 5th place. Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney. Just ahead of them, Brad Keselowski dealing with Eric Almirola. There's Ty Dillon in the picture, 1 down. Keselowski in 4th, 5.5 seconds back of the leader. Gaining a little bit of ground. It's Toyota, Chevrolet, and 2 Fords. Out front, Kyle Busch.
Do you think that 21's going to move over and let you go? You got another thing coming. He's racing hard today.
Chase Elliott's done everything he can in the traffic to try to corral Kyle Busch, but Busch has just been masterful at usually working the outside lane to make his passes on cars going a lap down.
I think he figured that out a little bit ago there when he run up some traffic. There's some grip out there. I've watched him run a little higher. Ever since he made those passes on the outside, he found some grip. He's going.
Let's go back to the drivers who are here for the first time and give a call to Eric Jones, who is in 8th place. Remember, he came out of the Xfinity Series, which does not race at this track. He has been here in the trucks. You heard his radio earlier. He was a little bit frustrated with the way the car is running. Twice rookie drivers have won here. Earl Ross for Junior Johnson in '74 and Morgan Shepherd for car owner Cliff Stewart 1981. I wouldn't call Jones a favorite, but I wouldn't count him out either.
Let me tell you about him. He's a calm guy. He keeps his cool, and then, you know, he just stays under the radar. Larry.
Well, I just want to add to it. Think about his crew chief, Chris Gale. We talk about the Xfinity Series not coming to Martinsville. So realistically, Chris Gale is a rookie as a crew chief here as far as the Cup Series.
Well, they're doing a great job today. 11 seconds off the lead in 8th place.
Yeah, and of course, you know, he's a teammate to Martin Truex Jr. That 78 was strong in that first stage, so obviously they have very similar race cars.
Truex now in 12th place after restarting 16th with fresh tires. There's our stage 1 winner. 31 to go in stage 2.
Pretty crazy how the stages and the cautions and the way they've fallen have really shaken things up. I mean, Rod Truex Jr. seemed to have a pretty good handle on things earlier, and now you see him battling, just trying to get back up there, you know, into the top 10.
Yeah, this kid here,
yeah.
Yep. Here's another one right here that Trevor Bayne, you know, earlier he had some problems, but here he is in the top 10.
Matt?
Trevor Bayne and crew chief Matt Pusha giving a great day for the Roush Fenway folks. The car's a little bit on the free side, but the thing about it is he's asking if he can move up to try to find more grip, Jamie.
And the 22, Joey Logano, his team just radioed. He's got a flat left rear. You see it there. He's coming straight to pit road, trying to save the car. He's been running top 5. Not a word out of Joey. The team saw it on the camera. He's bringing it in safely, hoping to keep this car intact. The team is on the wall and ready to go.
Obviously, probably had some contact somewhere, cut that left rear down. I'd say there's a little contact.
Teammate,
Hello, buddy.
Keselowski.
Yeah.
22. That number's been to victory lane here twice. Fireball Roberts in 58. Red Byron when the first Cup race was run here in 1949.
You know, in our pre-race, we talked about teammates and sharing information and having some incidences on the track competing against one another. That's going to be another interesting Monday morning meeting.
They had trouble getting the left side of that car off the ground with that flat tire.
Yeah,
So
when
low.
these cars run, they run so low here, lower here than probably anywhere. When you have a flat left rear or left front like that, you cannot get the jack under the left side.
I think they run underground here, Mike. They're so low. I'm telling you.
Joey Logano has lost 2 laps with that stop. Sunday, next Sunday, in the Lone Star State, the newly repaved Texas Motor Speedway. They say turns 1 and 2 are different than they were. That'll be fun.
The pictures I've seen, they certainly look different. The track looks wider, it's flatter. They took some banking out of it. I think it's going to be really, really fast, but it's going to be a little treacherous.
Yeah,
I'm
heard some crew chiefs comparing it to Kentucky and maybe even a little bit to Darlington on how different 1 and 2 is versus 3, 4, and how hard it's going to be to set up the car for that.
That'll be fun next Sunday on Fox. 24 to go in stage 2. Kyle Busch now out front by 3 seconds, Matt.
Trevor Bayne has talked about it. Several other drivers, Mike, have talked about it. You see Kyle Busch running about a lane higher. They're saying if you're running down in that rubber, the track seems to be much more tighter for your race car, so they're moving up. Busch right now says his car does not fire off well, but it really seems to come in, much like what Jeff documented during final practice.
And Mike, I can't believe, I didn't think I'd see a day when we run to the out of the edge of the concrete here, but a lot of cars are right out at that very edge of the concrete, not on the asphalt, but all the way up at the top.
Kyle lapping Ray Galding, who will go 3 laps down in 32nd place.
What we've typically seen here a lot of times, when that rubber builds up, it gets thick and it gets chunky. And what happens is it loses grip. You get the right sides in it, you start to lose the grip in that right front or right rear tire. That is the most rubber I've seen laid down here at Martinsville in a long time. Look right there. Look at the pieces of it, how it's built up. That's what I'm talking about. You really can't run your right sides through that. And I think that's what Kyle Busch as well as Brad Keselowski are doing so well right now. They're straddling that and they're finding better grip on longer runs.
Now we've got more on Joey Logano's flat tire. It may not have come from contact. Jamie?
Yeah, that's what they initially had thought, but Goodyear is down here. They just looked at it and told me it was indeed cut right in the middle of the tread. So it was a cut left rear.
Well, that'll make Joey and Brad feel better.
I hope.
But Mike, you talked about that rubber on the track. Those are like little speed bumps. When you hit that, it's like hitting little speed bumps, and the car will chatter.
Eric Jones, 7th place. Had a little dust up with Jeffrey Earnhardt here.
Yeah, you know what that is, he's just using every bit of the racetrack. The rear tires are trying to spin and slide out from underneath them. He's trying to manage that. He's also got Matt Kenseth behind him. Car on the outside of him. That was just racing.
Yeah, there's no ill will there. I mean, that was just a racing incident at Martinsville coming off the corner. Not quite enough room.
Guys, let's just talk about where we're at. We have been 100 laps since that last caution, and we are now less than 20 laps to go to the end of stage 2. If we do get a caution before the end of that stage, I think definitely it will be feeding time on pit road. Everybody comes and gets 4 Goodyear tires.
17 to go in stage 2. As we pause to remember one of the greatest sportsmen and Busch Series drivers ever to run here. 9 wins for Sam Ard, who passed this week. We'll stand silent and crank it up.
He hadn't run the bottom in a while. He don't know what he's got. All clear. All clear. He backed off. Still down there. 5 car lengths behind you. Barely. About 8 to Harvard. Doing good.
To go in stage 2 as Kyle Busch struggles to put the 17th place car, number 17, Ricky Stenhouse, a lap down. Stenhouse fighting to stay on the lead lap until the stage end.
Ricky's doing an awesome job running the line that Kyle Busch really likes to run and making it very difficult on him.
Yeah, but right there in front of him, there's his teammate, Denny Hamlin, just up ahead of him. The 3 car he's racing, trying to put a lap down. And these guys are running 14th and 15th.
Casey Kane in 10th under David Reagan, and just ahead of Martin Truex, the stage 1 winner. Kane right now in the last point position as we look toward the end of stage 2, Chris.
And Casey Kane having a good day early on in the race. He was saying that the car was just too tight, something he was dealing with all day yesterday in practice. But one thing this team has been good at in 2017 is making adjustments, making that car better. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Casey Kane happy with the number 5.
Boy, I tell you, there's some guys that are, I can't wait for this next stage to end, because there are guys that are out of tires hanging on for dear life.
6 more laps.
One of those is Denny Hamlin. I mean, somebody that we just think of as being so good here at Martinsville. Great race car, great race team, and boy, he can't wait to make some adjustments. He's struggling just trying to stay on the lead lap.
As they run, Chris Buescher would get the free pass, and everybody in front of the race leader, of course, would stay on the lead lap.
It's 2 car. He's been relentless, and he's worked his way up here. He's 3rd right now. He's closed up on the back of Chase Elliott. He's trying to get by Chase before this stage ends.
He is one that is not struggling. They found something at this a year ago. They've always had good short run speeds, but now they got the long run speed.
And everybody in front of Kyle Busch right now is a lead lap car. This is quite a fight here with 4 to go in stage 2.
Well, and I think...
Oh, Hamlin moved Newman.
Yeah, well, he knows
and it packs up even tighter.
The 18's coming, man. I got to go.
Oh, finally Kyle gets the outside. Look at Stenhouse going to run him wide. I mean, how bad does Kyle Busch want to put these cars a lap down, I think is what Stenhouse is thinking.
Oh, Stenhouse got into him again. Are you kidding me?
Easy for that to cut the left rear tire of Kyle Busch with that kind of contact.
Oh, Timmy Hill way up high, and everybody is going to get by.
But Mike, I told you earlier, guys will race you harder right now trying to stay on this lead lap.
Sure.
Than I think they sometimes do for a win.
Look at Boyer trying to push his way past Hamlin. Newman right there. Dillon.
Pit road is closed.
And the leader right in the middle of it with 2 to go.
Red light.
I tell you, I'm watching.
Look at the left rear of on the 18. I just saw some smoke come off that left rear.
He's going to make it to the end of this stage, I think, but he does have some damage back there.
Saw a little bit of smoke come off the left rear of Kyle Busch as he came off turn 2 the last time.
All right, one more lap, and if he gets past Dillon, that's bad news for Stenhouse. Stenhouse would lose the free pass spot. It's going to be close.
I think he's going to be okay. There's not a lot of damage back there, but just enough. It's touching that left rear. But Stenhouse.
Oh, he moved him! Stenhouse moved him! And gets back on the lead lap.
And
here they come to the flag. How about that? Whoa! Chase Elliott wins stage 2.
What is it you don't like about stage racing?
Nothing.
Nothing. That was bizarre.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. So let's go back about 3 laps where Ricky Stenhouse is trying to stay on the lead lap.
See right here, he just said he ran him high. Look at it.
Oh, this guy's figured out the window.
He's got his hand out the window. What are you doing?
And then he makes contact again in the left rear. That caused a little bit of damage.
And this is coming to the end of the stage. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through.
Tap, tap.
I think Kyle finally just said, okay, I'm going to get out of your way. But then here came Chase Elliott to win that stage.
That's awesome.
Well, that was a desperate move by Stenhouse, but that's what was required, because if Kyle Busch had gotten past the 3, Stenhouse would not get back on the lead lap.
That was a fight right there, guys. A fight.
And Chase Elliott is the surprise winner of stage 2. Chase Elliott is the surprise winner of stage 2 in Martinsville. We'll talk to him in a bit. Baseball's back on FS1. And the New York Yankees are looking to recapture pinstripe pride with last year's hottest rookie, Gary Sanchez. They take on Evan Longoria and the Tampa Bay Rays. Don't miss all the action Wednesday, 6 Eastern here on FS1. Let's have a look at how the Coca-Cola family of drivers is faring. Denny Hamlin, Austin Dillon on the lead lap, as is Ryan Newman. Danica Patrick's gone a lap down. Joey Logano cut a tire. He is 2 down. Daniel Suarez has crash damage. He is currently 35th, 4 laps down.
Pit road will be open to the caution car. Pit road will be open to the caution car.
Last year, en route to his win, Kyle Busch led over 300 laps here. He's led the most laps so far today, 118, but he did not lead that last green flag lap. Ricky Stenhouse wanted back on the lead lap, took that position. Chase Elliott snuck through to grab the stage 2 win, his second stage win of 2017. Pit road's open, Chris.
And Ryan Blaney happy with his race car. He said after about 75 laps, the only issue I'm having is getting off the corner. So let's make a small adjustment here. And crew chief Jeremy Mullins telling the rear tire changer Shannon Myers, be sure to take a good look inside that left rear. If there's any damage back there, let's get it off the tire now so we can give up a little bit of track position now. We can get back later.
Adam Stevens has already talked to NASCAR and told them they would need to pull the fenders on the left front and left rear of Kyle Busch's Toyota. Adam's been trying to compartmentalize his driver's emotion. They know they're going to lose a spot or 2 here, Jamie, on pit road, trying to fix the damage.
And there you saw a chassis adjustment, both sides of wedge for the 48. Car's pretty good, a little loose up top. He worked his way around to see where he's better. And And the 24 at Chase Elliott said, do not hurt the turn on this car. That is our strong suit. It was a 4-tire stop and an air pressure adjustment for the leader, the 24.
Here's the race off pit road, fueled by Sunoco. Elliott and Busch. Jimmy Johnson picks up a spot. Brad Keselowski had to stutter coming out of his pit because another car was coming in. And here is the 21 stop. Again, a long stop for Ryan Blaney, who came in 5th. We're told a miscommunication between the crew chief and the driver resulted in a slow stop. He's now 17th.
Oh. I saw the car back up. I could barely see the car from where I am, but I saw the car back up. They had an air ridge hung up under there, and that cost him time.
There's Keselowski having to stutter so he wouldn't run into a car entering its pit ahead of him.
Hey, why don't we dial up our stage 2 winner, Chase Elliott. Hey, Chase, Jeff up in the FS1 booth. You got me?
Sure do.
Man, buddy, you're doing an awesome job out there. I know this is a place you felt like you've struggled at in the past, but you're looking really good. I got to ask you, did you see that stage ending quite the way it did? That was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was definitely wild. I think I'm as surprised you're talking to me right now as you are, but it's been a fun afternoon so far in the Center G1 Chevy, and hopefully we can finish off strong. This is a different place for me, and like we've talked in the past, just trying to kind of figure it out. So hopefully we can move forward or stay up here the rest of the day.
Well, you're in great company up there with the guys you're racing with, so keep learning and keep driving the wheels off it. Congrats on that. Go get them.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. You guys have fun.
Chase Elliott has led twice for a total of 16 laps today. And there is the bump from Ricky Stenhouse that sent Kyle Busch up high and Chase Elliott to the stage 2 win. Once again, here's the end of stage 1. Stenhouse with a bump to Kyle Busch. Chase Elliott wins the stage, and all America is wondering what was the radio traffic from team number 18. We did a little editing. Here you go.
I'm sorry about that. I had to go. It's fine. You understand. 17. Oh, my. Easy now. Easy now. We got a little left rear rub there. We got a left front rub. We got a left rear rub. We got every rub because I got the main for no reason. Hey, man, take a chill pill for me. Take a chill pill. Got a race to win here. All that work for absolutely nothing. 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 No.
They'll get to do it again. Here we come to the Geico restart zone. Stage 3. Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch. And Busch wants that lead back, and right now.
Yeah, he's fired up. I'm not so sure he's going to understand like Stenhouse's crew chief told him he would. Back to the front.
He's going to need a big bottle of chill pills for this one.
I'm not so sure that they got that left rear fender out. Look at, that's a pretty cool move by Kyle Busch right there. He knows it's smoking. He moved down low and turned the car back to the right.
Oh, man.
Trying to get that fender knocked out.
Are you kidding me?
They did not lose a spot on pit road. Maybe they didn't pull that fender.
Well, also the left rear air pressure is down in like the 9-pound range, and that flexes that tire wall a lot more than it was when it had air pressure, higher air pressure in it.
It better quit smoking pretty quick, or he's going to be in trouble.
I agree.
And we saw what happened when the left rear went down on the 1 car.
We went back and looked at the pit stop, and they really did not have a lot of time to work on that left rear and make any improvement on the sheet metal. Here's a look at it in slow motion.
I don't know, Mike. If it keeps rubbing like that, they're going to have time to work on the whole rear end.
Well, yeah, he really didn't
get the tire
much
change.
Of a tug, and I'm not sure if he got to it in the right area either. I don't. Oh, there's a little bit more of a pull right there at the very end.
Yeah, not right behind the tire. Maybe a little bit right in front of it. Not enough.
Rocket debris out of the groove, turn 2. Official called it in out of the groove.
That thing just, I tell you, it's just scary. It's worried me with that left rear tire wheel.
3rd place. Keselowski and Johnson. Kenseth in 5th. Earnhardt.
Yellow. Debris off of 2. It was getting better.
Now, you heard the call, and that will be a caution flag at lap 279.
Hey, Larry, I want to bring Larry in and ask him, do you think they'll come in and pull that fender out on the left rear of the 18?
I think they need to, but I'm not sure with this late in the race, with 18 drivers still on the lead lap, I just do not see them giving up that track position. I'd be shocked if they come to pit road.
It was getting better, Larry. I think the spotter told him it's getting better. That air pressure comes up, it's worth the gamble.
Now this will be a quickie yellow, meaning the pits will open one time for all cars, and not that sandwich bag, but this spring rubber is the reason for the caution up at the edge of the concrete.
Mike, normally I'd say it's out of the groove, but today they've been running right up next to the edge of that concrete a lot.
Good point. They're getting ready in the Kyle Busch pits.
We were joking during the break that we think the smoke that was rolling out of the left rear might not have been just coming from the left rear fender. Rob, it might have been coming out of Kyle Busch's helmet.
I think it's come out of his ears.
Denny Hamlin is in, and so is Ryan Blaney, and the free pass car, which is our pole sitter Kyle Larson. Kyle Busch stays out. Chris.
And Denny Hamlin going to take advantage of this, going to make another adjustment to this car on that short run there, saying the car too tight. But on that last stop, when they pulled all the tires back over the wall, they noticed a slice in the left rear, and they're wondering if that affected the car on that last run.
As long as it was holding there, I wouldn't be too worried about it, but it could have caused a problem. I think everybody at the end of that last stage was hoping, was anxious to get to that end of that stage, out of tires.
Just trying to look at this fender, man. It looks like they got it pulled out.
I think it's right up. I think it's right up there, Jeff. I think that's where it rubs when the thing flexes out a little bit, but it hadn't rubbed the letters off the tire, so I think he's okay.
It's probably just getting that little corner.
Yeah, that edge.
Great tight shot of Kyle Busch's left fender, just in front of the tire and just at the upper rear of that wheel opening, Matt.
Mike, they told Jake Simonera and Kenny Barber, the rear change and rear carrier, that the damage they felt like was more severe was just to the right at about 3 o'clock on the Interstate Batteries decal, just in front of that left rear. And you saw that the smoke was actually coming from the top there in the wheel well area.
And you know, the other thing I don't notice, that's a nice tight shot. I don't see any rubber anywhere that would be shedding off the tire. I don't see any really obvious reasons for them to come in at this point.
Well, sure was a lot of hazing here.
We talk a lot about clocks when we're here at Martinsville, but I'd call that 10 or 11 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I don't think that's 3 o'clock.
Well, it's not a cuckoo clock.
And earlier, Jamie McMurray had a tire rub and got his clock cleaned when that tire went down, and he pounded the wall.
Yep.
He's the one car out of the race. We'll go green this time. Kyle Busch stays on the racetrack with the lead. Chase Elliott, second. Keselowski and Johnson, row 2. Kenseth and Earnhardt, row 3. There goes Kyle Larson with the free pass.
And he's going to have to hustle, Mike, because they're coming to the green flag. He's going to have to hustle around here and catch the rear of the field.
Bain and Truex in row 4. Kane and Jones in row 5. 18 lead lap cars, 19 with Larson.
Well, it's cutting it close on it with that quickie yellow. He's just going to catch up to the back of the field when they go green.
He might have to slow down for him, though.
218 laps to go, and we're back under green.
Wow, the 24, he didn't go.
Three wide off of turn 2 there before some cars further back.
Yeah, Ty Dillon tried
to make it work.
Didn't work.
Well, you can see that outside. You watch that 24 car on the outside of the 2. There is some grip out there, and he's able to maintain.
He and Jimmy Johnson and Eric Jones all running the high line without losing spots.
Yeah, Mike, it's just uncommon for this place. I mean, normally you get stuck on that outside, you're done. You might go back to 10th, 12th place. Today, you're able to maintain.
Curious to see how Keselowski races Chase Elliott right here. We saw him try to run him up the racetrack just a little bit in that last corner, just use up that lane and try to get a straight shot off the corner. That time he gave him a little bit more room.
So hard to go in under somebody into turn 3. It's a little bit of a downhill run getting into 3 off that transition from the asphalt to the concrete. You can get really loose under somebody if you're not careful getting in there. You're on the brake.
Hey, who's that running in 4th place?
What a great day for Matt Kenseth. Boy, he had a tough time on the West Coast swing with a couple of hard hits, but here he is in the top 4.
You know, he and Eric Jones remind me so much of one another. We talk about quiet drivers that find a way to just put these great runs together. That's Matt Kenseth to me.
Matt?
It's tough coming to Martinsville looking for this place to be your season's turnaround, but that's what Kenton is hoping for. The car wasn't great in practice. They leaned on their teammates, especially the 18 of Kyle Busch, just looking for more forward bite. And I don't know if you noticed, maybe he might be a little lighter in the seat. He shaved his beard. Maybe that's helping with the big turnaround here. Great run so far.
Oh, that 3 in the 77. The 3 in the 77 got together, and that's what created that whole mess. Oh, the 41 is crashed.
And A.J. Allmendinger might have been involved in the start of all this.
It started down the front here, Mike. They all got wadded up a little bit. Coming down off of turn 4 down the front. Let's take a look back.
Let's go back to turn 4, and we'll see Allmendinger.
It's a 47
right
right
there.
there.
Eric Jones behind Casey Kane.
Some contact here.
Kind of ran the 77 a little wide. He makes contact with the outside wall. The 3 just puts a fender inside there.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of this today.
Austin Dillon gets piled into from behind by Hamlin.
And I think it was just a domino effect. The 3 checked up, trying not to get into him too much and spin him. Then cars started stacking up behind, makes contact. See the 11 of Denny Hamlin makes contact. I think the 14 maybe even made a little bit of contact to the back of Denny Hamlin there.
Yeah, Hamlin was able to. I don't think he has any problems, but he was lucky.
All good, you man. Keep rolling the bottom.
Yeah, they just lost.
Inside, stay high. All clear, all clear.
You're riding with Clint Boyer there as he got hit from behind by Stenhouse. Danica Patrick will get the free pass. She'll be back on the lead lap. Kurt Busch on pit road and on the 5-minute crash clock, as is Daniel Suarez for the second time today. Eric Jones will pit. So will Hamlin, Buescher, Boyer, and more. Caution at lap 290 for mayhem at Martinsville. Getting ready for the restart to complete lap 294 at Martinsville. Kyle Busch now with Brad Keselowski on the front row. Elliott Kenson, Johnson Truex, Earnhardt Bain. Here we go.
I don't know. I don't know what was going on in that restart, but it was something weird back in the field.
They seem to come to get the green pretty slow and took off pretty late, so maybe it's just a domino effect with some cars trying to anticipate it further back.
Like they didn't know where they were supposed to be.
Let's take another look at the restart.
Watch this mess.
Oh, I see. Yeah, they're 3 wide. They're
3 out there. Here comes the 11.
Yeah, they felt.
Caution, turn number 3.
Yeah, obviously those cars felt like they deserved to.
Oh, here goes the 41 down in front here. He's
10-4, we're done then.
Kurt Busch got into the wall after they had repaired damage from that crash in turn 1.
Oh, and he was on the 5-minute clock, right? So I wonder if he didn't make minimum speed.
So
he was clear of the clock. He had made minimum speed, and then this happened.
Left front tire. It just cut that left front tire down. He couldn't turn.
And that's really significant damage to the right front. They can't fix that in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and way too much camber in the right front.
So Kurt Busch will join Jamie McMurray in the garage as this race still has 200 laps to go.
Guys, I think when you are part of an accident and you come to pit road and you're on the 5-minute clock, even though you clear the 5-minute clock as Kurt Busch did, if you bring the next caution out, you pretty much are done. I think that's why Tony Gibson told Kurt Busch, yeah, they've got a lot of damage, but pretty much we're done for the day.
I think that's the way I understood it this morning when we had our NASCAR meeting.
Yeah, great point there, Larry. Thanks
for the call.
Eric Almirola comes to pit road, and so does Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and Ricky Stenhouse. Let's go down to Chris Myers in the Hollywood Hotel for the eBay Motors race break.
Thanks, Mike. Quick recap here. Lap 7. This was early, but first place at the time, Keselowski speeding on pit road. The second place car, Logano, crew over the wall too soon. Issues later, a tire problem for Logano to go a few laps down. Ryan Blaney with some contact with Jimmy Johnson, chain reaction. It caused a tire problem, and then later Jamie McMurray wrecks out of the race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. with a nice save, running 10th, and been able to hang in the top 10. At the end of stage 2, Kyle Busch hit by Stenhouse, and Busch is knocked off the stage win. That goes to Chase Elliott.
Wow, what a dramatic finish to that stage. Our most recent caution, Kurt Busch, who was involved in a wreck earlier, blows a left front tire, sends him straight into the outside wall. He's done for today because of that contact.
So Kyle Busch a little bit upset, but he looks like he has the race in control at the moment if the tires hold up. And how about Matt Kenseth? Was talked about 0 for 34. Here's a guy who's been a NASCAR champ, 2-time Daytona 500 champ. If you're into numbers, he does have 4 wins from starting 25th, and he started 25th today, even though he's never won here at Martinsville.
And he's just slowly and patiently clawed his way to the front. That's how champions do it here at Martinsville. You got to be patient here. Last fall, he led the most laps, and he finished 4th. So don't be surprised to see Matt Kenseth climb up and get a piece of this thing at the end.
Yeah, only 2 rookies have ever won at Martinsville. Another dozen drivers on their first try. So will it be a young driver like a Chase Elliott, or you got the veterans up there with Keselowski, who's never won here, Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch? Let's head back upstairs. That is your eBay Motors Pit Box race break.
Thanks, Chris. 300 laps complete. Eric Almirola was the free pass car on that caution.
Like again, he is going to have, he's back here not even to the front of the field yet, and he's got to get by all these cars and get himself to the rear of the field. I don't think he's going to make it.
They're going to add 1 lap, Darrell.
Ah, yeah, because the 43 is not going to make it.
Trying to get all the lead lap cars sorted out in the right place. 20 lead lap cars plus Almirola will be 21. Here's how the stage points were awarded today in stages 1 and 2. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex, your stage winners, but Kyle Busch added the most points. Elliott, Keselowski, Truex, and Blaney and Johnson, 10 or more. Now we'll go green this time. Kyle Busch on the outside, or inside of the front row. Brad Keselowski on the outside. Elliott and Kenseth.
I think Jeff would agree with this, Mike. My theory always here was, my strategy always here, I didn't really even care if they mentioned my name until I got to the 300 lap mark. And then I like for him to start saying, hey, he's running pretty good, got a chance.
Last October, eventual race winner Jimmy Johnson did not take the lead until lap 409. She's real fine. You know.
I got none of the rest of that one.
And I do agree with you, DW.
Green. Kyle Busch takes off. Now, will that tire be rubbing, and if so, for how long?
I agree with you, DW, but I'm not so sure that's the way you went about it.
No, well, if I was not having a very good day, that was my strategy, you know, just be around, let the other people beat themselves, and then try to, you know, capitalize on that. Now, what made me think of that is Jimmy Johnson and Matt Kenseth, 2 really savvy veterans, and we see them working their way right up toward the front.
You know what I'm not seeing? A tire rub on the 18.
That air pressure's probably come up, but here's a big tire rub, the 21.
Yeah, the 21 and 22 back here, and the 17. I mean, they're trying to wreck each other. I don't know if they're going to make it or not, but they're trying.
Well, there was some contact the last time through turns 1 and 2. The 21 went really wide up out of the groove.
The 22 has got serious right front tire rub. The fender is down on the tire. That was all in the
And
turn.
Blaney's coming in.
Yeah, he's got damage. The 22's got damage.
All right, on your lights here. Left side, left.
Let's look at the right front on Logano's car.
You know, DW, we don't talk as much about saving brakes as we used to here, but you still got to save the fenders, and you still have to have a car in one piece to finish and finish well here at Martinsville.
Well, what you don't want to do is close up those brake ducts. Your radiator opening for your keeping your engine cool, and those brake ducts keep the brakes cool. You don't want to beat those things shut.
So this was after the 21 of Ryan Blaney already went wide in 1 and 2. He came back down to get back in the groove, and the 22 just happened to be right there, and they made contact. Now that damage was already done though to the 21. Oh, I see.
Wow.
The 10 of Danica Patrick.
Inside, middle of 3. Inside 17, middle of 3. Clear high, clear high, clear high.
And you know who that was? It was Patrick and Allmendinger again going at it.
Allmendinger or Busher?
Oh,
Yeah,
Busher, excuse me.
It's Busher.
Sorry.
Yeah, and she got in the back of him. He gets loose, and he goes up and almost takes out the 21 of Ryan Blaney.
Well, I think the 22 is okay, but he had some serious right front fender damage, but I don't see any smoke. See the 32 car, he's all over the place. He hit the wall.
They're not done.
I think that might create a little
get
problem.
ugly right here. Oh, man, they're banging off on the back straightaway.
Spin in turn 2, Greg Galding.
May I just say I saw that coming?
What was your first clue?
Oh, golly gee. You know what? It's crazy how we race, go green, and then we have these cautions. People lose their cool.
A rookie from Virginia having a spin there up in the second corner. But what is going on now with Busher and Patrick?
I think Busher's not real happy that Danica got in the back of him, got him into the 21, but then she's not real happy that he got in the back of her and sent her up the racetrack.
Right front fender damage on Busher.
Wow.
Oh.
Yikes.
I don't know if they just hooked fenders and it turned both of them into the outside wall, or if the 23 just wasn't quite sure if he was out there.
Well, let's listen to Danica's radio.
He got in front of me, so my momentum took me right where it took me. So I know he's a rookie, but he's smarter than that.
Yeah, so she obviously feels like he came down right as they got into the braking zone into turn 1.
See Danica on the outside. The 37 gives her kind of a push right there. They get 3 wide, which is not good.
Yeah, this is all after the initial contact. They're not done down the back straightaway. And old Ricky Stenhouse,
yeah,
Danica's boyfriend,
he
right
go?
there on the inside, looking at all this happen.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., the first of the cars to pit, including Trevor Bayne, Austin Dillon. Coming down the pit road, Ryan Newman, and more. Matt?
And Mike Dale Earnhardt Jr., long conversation with crew chief Greg Ives. He says he's lost a lot of the grip, but he also feels like the car is on the splitter. Just the way that is feeling tight to him, especially in that left front area. He wasn't sure if maybe it was low on air, if that was his issue. But he's not begging for change, and he had been pretty good up to that point.
Joey Logano is going to be the free pass car. Remember, Joey went 2 laps down with a flat tire on lap 231. So he'll be back on the lead lap.
I can't believe that right front tire, and that I thought that fender was going to give him a problem, but apparently he's okay.
I'm anxious to see how this plays out for the 88 Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Greg Ives, because I thought that they had this scenario earlier in the race where they were able to get a little bit fresher tires, come in, even lose some track position, but it paid off for them because a caution came out not too long after that, about 8-10 laps, and then they stayed out, and their car was really good when they were up front.
Lap down cars pitting now. There's the damage to Ryan Blaney's car. Cole Witt is in. Kevin Harvick, who's gone a lap down. Paul Menard, Reed Sorensen, and others.
We haven't run modifieds here in years. But Suarez is going to run
we
one
talk
today.
a lot. We talk a lot about brakes, and when Jeff sat down with Richard Petty, that was part of the discussion. How brakes are used on these cars now versus then.
When I drove up there, I drove on the right foot. I never usually put on brakes.
It's so interesting now when I see some of the videos of you at Martinsville. Now it makes sense because you don't see the car dive.
Right.
And these days you see the car really heave into the corners because how hard they're on the brakes.
In the long run, that was advantage. Short track, short racing, that's not the way to do it. Right. But over a long period of time, to me, it worked.
Boy, did it work. 15 victories at Martinsville for Stock Car Racing's king, Richard Petty. They're up on top of the hauler.
Junior Johnson asked me one time, said, boy, you ain't left foot braking, are you? I said, yes, sir. That's the only way I know how to get around here. When I got there next morning, I had a piece of plywood between the clutch and the brake. Said, try that.
I wonder if Mikey ever gave Richard his cowboy hat back.
I hope so.
I do too. Guess not. Joey Logano getting ready for the restart. Late start. Green flag. They were all the way out of the Geico restart zone. They'll pack up down here in turn 1. It is the leader's choice when to start in that zone. If he doesn't go, the flagman restarts the race, and that appears to be what happened.
I think what Kyle's doing, he's just messing, you know, start early, start late, second guess me. Where am I going to go? When am I going to go?
I'll tell you what, Keselowski's so good in the braking zone. He can, even when he was in that outside lane and the 24 of Chase Elliott was to the inside of him, he still outbrakes him into the corner. 78 Mark Truex Jr. getting down in front of A.J. Allmendinger.
Yeah, and Keselowski, watching him, Jeff, he gains getting in the corner, but he loses a little bit because he can't get off the brake and back in the gas quite as quick as Kyle Busch can.
He carries so much speed into the corner.
You know what's odd about Keselowski's car? There's hardly a mark on it. There's one wheel mark from very early on in the left front fender. That's it.
It looks better than the one he raced last week, and he finished second in that car, and it was torn all to pieces.
Now this is the battle we've been waiting for. I think these are the two best race cars on the racetrack all day today. Now they finally have gotten on in the same sync on pit strategy and tires, and now we're going to see a heck of a battle.
Well, as it builds, let's go back to the restart. The restart zone begins right here.
Oh, he was still
very late.
Boy, very late.
A little late. But I just think he's just getting somebody beside he knows Keselowski guy's got to beat. Second guess me. Am I going to go early? Am I going to go late? When am I going to go?
Yeah, the later you can go in that zone, I think the better chance you have of getting ahead of that car either in turn 1 or even around the middle turns 1 and 2.
I think it's kind of fun though, Mike, because Jeff said he liked the 18 car today, and I said no, I like the 2 car today. And so I think it's fun that they're both up there right now. We're going to find out, is it going to be 18, is it going to be 2, or is it going to be somebody else?
You know, I was talking to Richard down there when he gave me his hat at the grid walk, and he talked about the speed of the 43 car. He said, we think we're now up to about a 10th place car. See him getting passed on the outside here, but this team's getting better and better. And man, it's fun to see those STB colors running so well here at Martinsville.
Almirola 17th, and oh, by the way, Michael had to give the hat back. Well, I don't know if he gave it back, but it's back.
Those things are like gold to the king.
Well, Charlie One Horse makes those hats for Richard and has for decades. And at the Peterson Museum the other night, they raised a lot of money for one of those hats.
They sure did.
Yep. 4th place. Hello.
Big contact.
And you know what Matt said? You go right on, young man. I might want to repay you for that.
I think Matt was getting ready to move over for him, and Jimmy didn't want to wait that long.
I don't know. I think kind of last couple of weeks.
Well, if you'd been Jimmy Johnson today, Matt Kenseth, you'd see what's been done to him all day. Nobody's waited for him. Oh, that's funny.
Good battle here. 10th place, Eric Jones, Denny Hamlin, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Trevor Bayne, Clint Boyer.
Did you say Trevor Bayne?
Yes, I did.
Man, contact.
Been hanging in there good today.
Yep.
Eric Jones made a little contact in the outside wall there. But you're right, DW. I like Kyle Busch and Keselowski making us look pretty good right now.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, Eric Jones now, he's hung on the outside. That's going to be difficult. Nope, he gets in line just ahead of Trevor
Not
Bayne.
yet. He's got Trevor Bayne making a big move to the inside.
Man, I'm glad he didn't turn down because that door was open.
That could have been a big wreck had he turned down. Wow.
I just like the decisions that kid in that 77 makes. He's a smart driver.
Just ahead of him, Dale Jr. going after Denny Hamlin, and Jr. makes the pass to the inside. .174 laps to go in Martinsville. Let's go full throttle with Joey Logano, who's back on the lead lap, presented by AutoZone.
All good everywhere. That 32 is the only guy up there. Bottom is good. Still out there, 32. Still out there, the door. Still out there. Clear of him. Trying to roll that top and clear again. Clear, clear.
Joey Logano 21st, last car on the lead lap after getting a free pass and recovering from a flat tire earlier. A.J. Allmendinger, second here last spring, 10th last fall, and the Dinger is up in 5th place.
You know, and it always amazes me that he runs so well here. Why, Jeff? Why do you think that is?
He has an incredible knack for this place. And when I looked at different drivers that sometimes you don't expect to run good here, I think of AJ, you think of Montoya, you know, Stewart ran really well here. I mean, Stewart runs good did run good everywhere, but those guys ran good on road courses. And I don't think of this place as a road course, but the braking that you have to have and managing the grip, managing the wheel hop, managing how much speed you carry to the center of the corner does have some similarities. So, yeah, AJ, he runs extremely well here, and he's not a guy that we talk about driving in easy. He doesn't drive in easy anywhere.
No, Danica, too, former road racer, battling for 19th. With Chris Buescher on the right of your screen, while Clint Boyer goes after Trevor Bayne on the left for 12th.
But we say it all the time, Mike, and I guess maybe folks at home get tired of hearing us talk about brakes, but that's the key to success here. It's all about the brakes, not the throttle.
But it's not always necessarily about saving the brakes. It's how you use that brake pedal, how much pressure, when you start to ease out of the brakes, how aggressively you go.
Oh, trouble turn
3. That is Reed Sorensen.
Just went around.
Who looked like he just sent it hard into the corner and it got away from him.
Okay, just went around.
That's why.
Maybe, yeah. It spun around like it had a left rear flat.
I've seen a lot of those today. All it takes is a little bit of contact with another car, and
that's worse than flat.
Yeah, when it goes down like that.
You know, you talk about all these brake applications, and let's look at what happened to Reed Sorensen.
See the smoke.
I don't know what happened before that, but certainly it went down.
Yep.
Very similar to McMurray's crash and left rear tire going down earlier in the race.
So we're at lap 334. You have already been hard on these brakes 668 times.
Yep. Right.
Twice each lap.
Twice a lap. That's right.
And
it's
one
hard,
thing,
it's hard on the brakes, hard on your foot. Look at this. How we watch Joey Logano. He's got left foot on the clutch, right foot on the brake. That, you know, the drivers are used to that. Now what he's doing, he's cutting it off. It helps cool the water temp. Also helps save fuel.
Yeah, but one thing I've noticed, Larry and Jeff, that pedal is not going down any further now than when the race started. So he hasn't given up any pedal.
Guys, it's going to be interesting here because when I look at our top 7 drivers, they have 36 laps on their tires. The other element now, running the race backwards, we're right there at the threshold of being able to make it to the end on fuel. So I think we'll see some of our guys up front hit pit road.
Question is the 88 going to come? He's got about 20 laps on his tires. Yeah, it looks like he's coming as well.
I think now you run this race just like any other race. You got to come. If the leader comes and you're up front, you got to come with him.
Everybody except Denny Hamlin and Ricky Stenhouse on the lead lap come in.
But Mike, Denny Hamlin's been in and out of the pits several times since these leaders have.
Matt?
And Mike, Brad Keselowski at the top. What a great recovery from that early speeding penalty. His car has been pretty good, but they're going to try to make an adjustment. You can see the wrench in the back window. The 18, Kyle Busch, says that he's loose on exit, but also tight in the center, but he cannot give up the exit, so they're going to try to fix the center, Jamie.
And Jimmy Johnson said he's been leaving his track bar up. It's helping the middle, but he's been searching around air pressure and wedge for the 48. 24, Chase is happy with the car. The longer they run, the better they are. He needs some long runs.
And Chase hit the brakes on pit road. Now that's a strategy move. He let Kyle Busch get out first. And then Brad Keselowski, he let Keselowski pass so he could be third in line for the restart. Let's see. Depends on how many of those lead lap cars stay out. So there's Kyle. Here comes Chase. He fires out for second, stabs the brake. And Keselowski is the even numbered car off pit road. We'll see how they line up for the restart. That could be interesting. We're under caution at lap 335. We'll keep it right here in Martinsville. Stayed out, so Chase Elliott's strategy move pays off. He's on the inside for this restart. Stenhouse has a little trouble getting going, and the 2 Toyotas are out front.
Yeah, I tell you, that 18 is strong, man. Look at him go down that back straightaway.
Yeah, those 4 tires are going to make a big difference right now.
Chase Elliott third, Hunting second.
I don't know if Hamlin had many other choices there. He's been stuck in the back. I think he's kind of hoping they run about 15, 20 laps here and gets another caution.
Yeah, he'd been in the pits since the leaders had earlier, so the tires are not that bad.
Well, that move for Chase Elliott to stab the brakes, leaving pit road, start on the inside lanes, paying off for him.
Counting cars.
Matt Kenseth moves to the inside of his Gibbs teammate. And Kenseth goes to third.
How about old Matt? I mean, he's just been lingering there, hanging around. Now he's up in third place.
Such a smart race car driver. Everywhere he goes, he knows how to get the most out of the car, bring the car back in one piece. It's been a tough year so far for Matt Kenseth. It'd be really great to see him get a good run, good finish.
And Kyle Larson climbing back into play into 5th place, Jamie.
Whoa! They have been working on this car, you guys. He fell out of the top 10, so we didn't talk much about him, but he's slowly been improving. They made quite a few pit stops. He said the drive off is definitely improving. That's been the biggest concern for him, the middle of the corner as well. But good job to the team getting the job done.
Yep. Hamlin has fared okay by staying out on old tires. Stenhouse has not. You heard that big reaction? Well, it was because Clint Boyer.
When you see this,
Boyer made a bold move. Watch the 14.
You'll be going the same thing. We saw this. This is unbelievable.
Watch how deep into the corner Clint Boyer goes here. Junior moves down.
Isn't that
Boyer
right there
not having any of
whoa!
How he even made the corner and didn't
He got
come
her in
up
there.
the racetrack. It's amazing.
Got her in there.
He's in 9th place, just ahead of Martin Truex.
And unfortunately, Dale Jr. stuck in the outside. Now 3 wide going into turn 1 with Stenhouse in the 3.
I like that low line getting in the corner.
And Trevor Bayne really had to pedal it there because he and Stenhouse got together last week and harsh words resulted. So nice move by Trevor Bayne. He could have got into Stenhouse there, but didn't.
You know, don't count out Joey Logano just yet either. I mean, he had a very fast race car earlier. He's had a lot of trouble today. He's in the 13th position.
He's got quite a bit of damage to the car. No, I don't think anything will hurt him to keep him from moving forward, but he has had some damage to his car.
Now, A.J. Allmendinger just pulled aside and let Jimmy Johnson go. I wonder if that's maybe a strategy maneuver of saving his tires for the long run.
I think you balance it out, Mike. Look, that's Jimmy Johnson. I'm A.J. Allmendinger. I've never won here, Jimmy Johnson. I got to let him go. Maybe I can learn something following him.
Well, and I also think at this point in the race, we're 348 laps into this. They know now how hard they can push, what their car does on the longer runs, on the shorter runs. I think that was just a really smart heads-up play.
I do, too. And sometimes you just better off to let him go. Maybe it'll come back to you.
Everything okay there, Jamie?
Everything seems to be fine. AJ's been making a conscious effort all race to take care of his equipment. And right now he says the car that is the best it's been. And remember, his crew chief, Randall Burnett, back on top of the box for the first time in 3 weeks.
When AJ saw that pay off for him on that last run, we saw him make some passes and moving forward towards the end of that last long green flag run.
We just saw Earnhardt move past Martin Truex.
Truex got his hands full with the 3 car.
And Logano.
Logano's looking under the 3, going to make the pass here, I do believe.
You're riding with Joey Logano. Little bump, little run. Patience.
Might be another bump and run about to happen right here.
This track, a lot of tracks I guess we go through, but this particularly, I just feel the intensity picking up a little bit. Just a little bit.
Guys, when you think about Joey Logano, remember, had that flat tire under green, stayed out the next caution, took the wave around, got 1 lap back, got the free pass just a little bit ago, back on the lead lap, fighting to get in the top 10. Great recovery for that group.
Man, he's pushing two guys down the front straightaway at once.
Down the front straightaway, Logano just gave the boot to 2 cars at the same time.
Well, I'm really wondering about Martin Truex Jr. there. He really gave up some positions pretty easy. I'm just wondering if he's feeling something that he needs to save these tires, that he's concerned it's going to fall off on the longer run.
Larson giving up 1 spot to Kenseth. And another one here to Jimmy Johnson on the outside.
And Allmendinger right there, and Dale Jr.'s kind of stalking them all right here, looking them over.
Now, Larson's definitely somebody we've seen fade on the long runs. He knows he cannot run hard and abuse those rear tires early in this run.
But he's just pulling over, though. I mean, it's like these guys are just driving by him. He's not really putting up much of a fight. Don't know if there's a problem or not, but he sure is making it easy for him to get by.
I think he's seen what happens, what the results are, by trying to race these guys early in a run.
Larry, I'm wondering, have they told these drivers, you've got what you've got, you got to make it last to the end?
Well, we know it wasn't that long ago, Mike. We had over a 100-lap green flag run. Now, I find it hard to believe we're going to run these last 144 laps caution-free, but they know they may not be back to pit road, especially everyone that pitted that last time, should we run it green the rest of the way out.
Oh, I've seen enough people that might want to pay somebody back. We're going to have another caution. As soon as those guys and gals get close to each other, we're going to have another caution.
Teammates once again.
Rumor has it was a very quiet Monday morning meeting at Roush Fenway between these two after contact last week at Auto Club Speedway.
It's not quiet right now, I can tell you. The guy that caused the wreck is in front of the guy that got wrecked. What does that tell you?
A.J. Allmendinger has not let up his pursuit of Jimmy Johnson. He let Johnson go by about a dozen or so laps ago, but he's not let him get away.
But isn't that so interesting? He lets him go by. You think, oh, you know, what's going on? Is there something wrong? No, he's just pacing himself. Just all about pace right now.
I think he just likes to follow Jimmy Johnson, see what he does.
Well, now he's right in the middle of a Hendrick sandwich. Hendrick Motorsports winless this year. There's Jimmy Johnson and Dale Jr. 5th and 7th with Allmendinger 6th in between.
Also, you could also throw out the theory that he let Jimmy go by. Jimmy was being aggressive. Then Jimmy got in front of him and said, no, I'm going to ride and pace a little bit here myself.
Clint Boyer looking to the outside. Joey Logano looking underneath.
Yeah, Mike, at this point in a race, your brakes are not exactly where they were when the race started. Maybe they're giving a little bit more than they did in the beginning. But most of the time at this point in the race, you got what you got. I mean, you're not going to make some miraculous change to your car and all of a sudden go from 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th up there and try to take the lead.
You know, one of our big discussions this week was about the crash clock and how much it might come into play today. But there are only 2 cars out of the race. McMurray, who rode down a flat rear tire into the turn 3 wall, and Kurt Busch, who got caught up in one crash and then cut a tire and totaled the car in the second one. They're the only cars out of the race. 36 cars still running.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of damage to their cars. It's not like they haven't been on pit road trying to fix them. They have.
Yeah, Daniel Suarez has been in 2 big wrecks, but they've made the repairs. He's back out there. First trip at Martinsville in a Cup car, running 35th. Chris Buescher to the inside of Eric Jones. And this is for position 17th, along with Eric Almirola and Danica Patrick. They're all still on the lead lap. Sixth place here. Allmendinger, Earnhardt, and Dillon, 6, 7, 8. $135 laps to go here in Martinsville. Let's look at today's Credit One Bank ones to watch. Jeff?
Well, I've got my eye on young Chase Elliott and that 24 car. I've seen a lot of success out of that 24 car here in the past. He's been trying to figure this place out. He's got a great pit stall, number 2 pit stall, and he's been really good on the short runs on these restarts. If it comes down to that, he might be able to get by Kyle Busch and win this race.
Yeah, Jeff, Matt Kenseth 0 for 34 here at Martinsville, and no one had a rougher trip out west than he did. Keep an eye on that 20 car, Matt Kenseth. He's not won since Loudon last July.
Well, you know what? I just can't go against a guy that's won 9 races here. Jimmie Johnson, he didn't take the lead here last year until 409 laps into this race. I think he's lurking back there for win number 10.
Daryl, I like a guy that's never won here before. No reason for that. 2 second-place finishes for Brad Keselowski. Had the fastest car in the closing stages of the race a year ago. Here, I think this guy gets it done late in the going.
Kyle Busch says he's sold $30,000 worth of Everything is Great t-shirts for charity. He's led the most laps today. He won here last year. Can you tell I got to pick first this week? That's your Credit One Bank ones to watch.
You dog.
Hey.
You got to go last, but pick first.
Reverse order. NASCAR reversed the field.
That's right. Because they give away a clock, we're going to run the race clockwise. Okay.
We're going to give you a trophy.
How about Matt on Matt?
Mike, 2 runs ago, Kenseth had a lot of confidence. He felt like he could have pushed the issue with the 24 of Chase Elliott, but he wanted to save those fenders for later in the race. Then the car really swung to the free side. He just had no forward bite. They made a slight air pressure change to help. It hasn't made a dramatic improvement, but he's holding station.
6.6 seconds off the lead is Kenseth. And they're still going at it back here for 17th. Chris Buescher, Eric Jones. That's why you've got to come here. There's racing all around this track on just about every lap. Joey Logano got past Dale Earnhardt Jr. for 8th place. 128 laps to go. Let's go side by side.
At AutoZone, our Fix Finder tool helps you check your engine light on the spot.
Looks like an O2 sensor. And if you need a repair shop, we can help with that too.
I guess I didn't have to wait a whole month to get that checked out, huh?
You said it came on yesterday.
Let's get you what you need.
Smithfield marinated fresh pork. Perfect any night for bringing the family together. Grilled, roasted, sauteed, or slow cooked. The prep work is done, so your meal is ready in about 30 minutes. So you'll never miss a beat. Enjoy real flavor, real fast with Smithfield marinated fresh pork. Flavor hails from Smithfield.
Geico Motorcycle. Great rates for great rides.
I'm a simple man. All I need is a comfortable chair. And KFC's delicious new Georgia Gold, available at extra crispy chicken, a chicken little sandwich, or extra crispy tenders. It's finger-licking gold.
I hate being stuck in traffic. 3 lanes, bumper to bumper, stuck going 180. I have some place to be. It's called Victory Lane. And the way I drive, I'll be there in no time.
Monster Energy Series from Texas, next Sunday at 1 Eastern on Fox.
Want to know who's going to be the next big thing?
What a move!
These guys have an idea.
3 and 4 wide, fighting for position.
He knew he was up against the best.
120 laps to go. Next time by as Kyle Busch tries to lap Michael McDowell. Got Cole Witt just ahead. Everybody fighting for their piece of real estate here at Martinsville, Virginia on the half mile. Tight quarters. Now let's take a look at how Joey Meyer, Brad Keselowski's spotter, helps him worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance spotter coverage.
Well, it's around the corner. It's more when he's on the gas, so we're not slipping up the track. I don't see us getting, wiggly or anything. That's, like a, I don't want to call it a forward drive issue, but that's where the area that right now when Chase yards us, that's where he gains us. It's from off the yellow line to where the concrete asphalt starts.
Comparing Keselowski's drive off the corner to that of Chase Elliott. That's our Liberty Mutual spotter coverage.
Well, I don't know about getting up off the corner, but I will verify this. That 2 car gets in the corner harder and faster than anybody.
Well, and as the run goes on, I think he just gets through the corners and makes lap times faster than anybody. He's so good on the longer runs. I love how they're not thinking about the 24 Chase Elliott right in front of them. They're thinking about that leader up there in the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Eric Jones in, going a lap down. Austin Dillon has had quite a run. He and Allmendinger had traded 6th place back and forth. And now here comes Logano.
We get a little racy right in there with the 47, the 3, the 22, and the 88. They're kind of grouping up here to kind of battle it out for the 10th place, or actually 7th, 8th, and 9th.
So Eric Jones pit stop to cure the tire rub, puts him back out now 2 laps down.
And don't forget what happened the last time when we came to the end of stage 2. We were in lap traffic, and all the trouble that Kyle Busch had with some of those lappers, that could play out here as well. Got the same 2nd place and 3rd place runners that played a role in all that craziness, where Kyle Busch got shoved up out of the groove. Chase Elliott gets a 2nd. The 2 was right there as well, or takes the lead away from Busch.
So we were coming to the end of a stage, and Ricky Stenhouse made a really bold move, knocking the leader up out of the groove. What'd you think of that move?
It was aggressive, but I think, you know, it's always, the leader has to also understand what's on the line for others. And so you have to play that into account. And I think that while he didn't like what Stenhouse did at that moment, when he looks back on it, he might put himself in those shoes and go, well, I can't totally blame him.
You know what I liked about it? Stenhouse did what he had to do, but he didn't wreck him. He pushed him up out of the way, beat him back to the line. That was his mission. Mission accomplished.
Kasey Kahne has had a good run all day to this point, but he is right in front of the race leader, who's just put Paul Menard a lap down, and now goes after Kahne into turn 3.
Just look at the difference in corner entry. 18 just drives up alongside and passes the 5 on corner entry. That's just being really, really good on the brakes. Being able to drive a car in under somebody, get down there, keep the car low, and not get it out of shape.
And you know, Kasey Kahne's done a great job. Look at his car. I mean, there's not a mark on that car. He's done a really nice job staying out of trouble, working on the car. They just haven't quite found that last little bit to keep them in better contention.
Yeah, he's running in 20th spot, Jeff, so you might want to beat those fenders up a little bit. Maybe save a little too much.
I can think of a couple that didn't work out so well for him.
Here's Logano on the outside, turn 1, going after Austin Dillon.
Now, don't count out Logano just yet. They did a nice job repairing this
Carnival car. Turn 2. Oh, Jeffrey Earnhardt.
Pretty heavy damage to the right front.
Right front's down. I don't know which came first.
11th caution of the day.
We know what did come, and that was the wall.
So if we can see what happens back here. He's coming.
Oh, that right front blew right in the middle, or right towards the exit.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh.
Bam.
Hard angle
see how,
on the wall.
what's that safer barrier, how it flexes?
Oh, thank goodness for that thing.
Oh, my.
Kasey Kahne will get the free pass. And Jeffrey Earnhardt may join Kurt Busch and Jamie McMurray in the garage.
Well, gang, this could be the money stop here. They have 52 laps on their tires. I think you will see all leaders coming to pit road. This takes all the fuel strategy, everything out of it. Just go hard for roughly 100 laps. So pit stop's a big deal here this time.
Kasey Kahne will get the free pass. He had just gone 1 lap down.
Now, one of the things, and this is why it's so important if you're the leader of Kyle Busch, put as many cars between you and the next car. Right now, there's 5 cars in between Kyle Busch and 2nd place Chase Elliott. That's going to give him a small advantage in gap once they get on pit road.
Jamie.
The 48 thinks he has something going on. They're not sure if it's engine, if it's car related. They've been kind of brushing it off like not a big deal because he's been involved in some issues, but they're talking on the radio right now. And Jimmy right now just saying he's struggling. He's not sure if something internal is happening.
Well,
he's going to come in.
Remember, we've seen a lot of issues with alternators, loads on the battery, causing power issues with engines.
I saw a good bit of debris on his grill, too. I don't know what his temps are, but I saw a good bit of debris built up on his grill.
There's that advantage that I talked about by having some lap cars in between the leader, Kyle Busch, and second place, Chase Elliott. And look, big gap back to fourth place, Matt Kenseth.
Matt?
And the 2 of Brad Keselowski and the 20 of Matt Kenseth, both chasing their first Martinsville clocks. Kenseth said his car was much better that run, but it just doesn't roll like it needs to. They're going to try to fix it with an air pressure change. Keselowski, as you guys documented, so strong on entry and exit, it just needs to cut better. And the 18, he loves his car. No changes on the 18. Jamie?
And Jimmy Johnson in as they talked about trying to fix that car. Not sure what's wrong, but the 24, Chase Elliott said the car is really close. Right now, it all comes down to how we hit our lines. That's going to be the difference maker in who wins this race.
Not much change in the front coming off pit road.
Yeah, there wasn't much Chase Elliott could do. He had a pretty big gap to the 2 car. He would have had to really stop the car in order to play that game.
Tough stop for A.J. Allmendinger. He gives up 2 positions.
You know, one thing I noticed about that 24 car, Champion won't have too much trouble keeping up with his wheels. He got some cool wheels today.
They're bright and shiny.
Little cleanup going on in the backstretch. And hey, the racing action today does not end here at Martinsville. Coming up next, NHRA drag racing from Las Vegas. Here's Dave Reef.
John Force and Tony Schumacher, the NHRA's winningest racers and most recent. 3 weeks ago at the Gator Nationals, 8-time Top Fuel champion Tony Schumacher swept the event to win for the 83rd time in his career. And John Force, 16 times a champion, switched teams, resulting in career win 148. But a change of venue to Las Vegas, Nevada has shuffled the deck. This weekend, it's Steve Torrence that's Top Fuel's top qualifier, and Courtney Force, #1 in funny car, and they want their share of the spotlight. So who do you like, the hot shots or maybe a long shot? Place your bets now, because after the checkered flag falls at the clip, there's more racing from the strip right here on FS1.
Thanks, Dave. From the clip to the strip. NHRA drag racing from Las Vegas next. Well, the speeding police have been out in force on this pit stop. Too fast entering. Eric Almirola, Trevor Bayne, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Man, this is not the time to overcome a penalty like that.
Well, and that's a much bigger penalty than just the positions you're going to lose to the lead lap cars. You have to go all the way to the tail end of the longest line. So that's a half a lap. Look at that. Where the leaders are over the start finish line, the tail end is all the way on the back straightaway.
Yep.
That's 2 tickets for Bayne today.
2 tickets, not to Paradise.
No,
not today.
Eddie Money, hold off. Well, let's get a little recap from Chris Myers and Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, and Brad Keselowski, who's currently 3rd. If you go back to lap 70, he was in 1st place, caught speeding on pit road. Pushed him back quite a bit. Dale Earnhardt Jr. running in the top 10 much of the day with a nice save here. And Joey Logano, a cut tire, was running 3rd. He ended up going 2 laps down. He's worked himself back up into the top 10. At the end of stage 2, Kyle Busch loses the stage. Chase Elliott gets it because of Stenhouse.
Stenhouse said, I got to be on the lead lap if I'm going to have a chance at a top 10 finish. I'm going to shove you out of the way, Kyle, and then open the door for Chase Elliott to take a dramatic victory in that 2nd stage.
And the 1st stage went to Martin Truex Jr., who will capture the final stage over these last 100 laps. Let's head back up to Mike, Farrell, and Jeff.
Thanks, Chris. Martinsville Speedway, 102 laps to go. That's what it looks like from our Goodyear aerial coverage. Everything Goodyear learns, making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR, inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR.
And a tip of the hat to Goodyear today, because the tire has been perfect.
Now, 11 cars took the wave around. So we will have 20 cars on the lead lap, including 21, including Paul Menard. And we mentioned Casey Kane got the free pass.
Let's see where 18 decides to go this time.
A little bit earlier this time. Same results. Boy. Kyle checked up a little bit early.
Tell you what, he better not give that 2 very much of an opportunity, or he will leap right by him.
Kyle's a curb hugger this time around 3 and 4.
Yeah, you can do that on new tires probably for a few laps, and then you'll start searching around where your car's got the most grip.
Austin Dillon hung on the outside now with Allmendinger, Newman, and Buescher.
Keselowski all over the back bumper of Kyle Busch. I think he's going to push it pretty hard on this run.
Yeah, I mean, it's time to go. We're got 99 laps to go. Now is when you want to position yourself to try to win this race.
Boyer throws it into turn 3. Right inside Austin Dillon, and he got away with it again.
He done it. I've seen him do it 3 or 4 times, and he makes it stick.
Boy, he's got some bold moves, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He's got a little confidence right now, not just in this race, but that nice finish he had last week at Auto Club Speedway. And this is a pretty good track for him, too.
3rd last week, 6th right now. Keselowski all over Kyle Busch.
Everybody's pushing now, and there's Larson. He's back in the picture. We haven't said much about him for a while, but he's found his way back up in the top 10. Now, look out, look out.
You know, Jeff, when you have a car that's really good on the long run, you don't mind pushing it on the early part of this run because you know if you push the other guy, your car is going to be good at the end of the long run. I love what Keselowski's doing here, forcing the issue.
Oh, I love it too, Michael. I totally agree. You get in that rearview mirror, get on his bumper, make a mistake. Maybe you can get an easy pass here, and then show him how strong your car is on the long run. Look at Kyle Busch there, opening up the door for him.
Right
He's going to let him go.
All day long, though. I mean, that 2 car gets down in a corner harder, faster than anybody I've ever seen here.
You want to race me now, or you want to race me later?
Well, I want to keep up with you right now. I don't want you to get away.
And Austin Dillon got back by Clint Boyer. Oh, spinning turn 3,
man.
and the car hard into the wall.
Wow.
Matt DiBenedetto.
That car went around violently.
Got a left rear tire, I bet. Yeah.
Wow, Mike.
You okay?
That was a hard spin.
We've seen a little bit of smoke and maybe a tire rub with the 32 earlier in the day. Maybe they never did get that fender. Or,
you know,
yeah, maybe there's something else.
DiBenedetto did spin around and scrub off a bunch of speed before he hit that wall. Still, it was a hard hit. Here he is on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty. Left rear tire went down pretty early down the back straightaway. You're just a helpless victim at that moment. You're just holding on tight. You may even know you have a problem, but you can't slow the car down. You can't control it.
Yeah, the way it spun around, Jeff, it spun around like a button on a door. I mean, it spun around.
Now he wants to drive that back. If he can't, no, not anymore.
He has the look of somebody that might want to have a conversation with somebody.
Pit road is open. Kevin Harvick's going to get the free pass. Haven't seen that in a while. And here's Matt DiBenedetto, who is okay. And we listened in on Kyle Busch.
All right, outside. Woohoo! Plowing center. Your full packer? Buddy, you said it was pretty good. We didn't do a damn thing. We put tires on it. Sent you back out there. Great, because the tires don't even feel the same, so of course they're different. They're way over squished and way over twisted and feels like they're flat.
I tell you.
I thought everything was great.
Yeah, everything's great.
Oh, gosh.
And, you know, I've seen that happen late here in the race. The pace picks up. Somebody pushes you a little harder. You carry a little bit more speed in the corner, maybe a little more brake, and the travels will get a little bit greater and get on that splitter and make the handling of the car and the balance change slightly.
I think I would ask him, is there anything we've done today that you like? Is there anything about this car you like?
Just remember, tick-tock, grandfather clock.
She's wound up tight.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Eric Jones in the pits here. Look like they're doing a little adjusting.
Well, remember, they came in under green with a tire rub. And also a little repair on Ryan Blaney's car. Going to check and make sure everything's attached and clear on Kevin Harvick, who gets the free pass. David Reagan. Michael McDowell in and out.
bit of
Landon
damage to the
Castle.
nose of that 4 car, but I don't think it's in an area that's going to hurt anything.
Corey LaJoie, Reed Sorensen, Cole Witt. A bunch of takers on pit road. Ray Gaulding, and there's Ricky Stenhouse back in. Well, all weekend long, we've talked about the 2 strongest cars here in Martinsville being Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. And here we are, less than 100 laps to go. And there they are, 1-2.
They really are. And Jeff and I talked, I mean, I said the 2 would win the race. He said the 18 would win the race. We said that early on because they had the best cars in practice, one on a long run, one on a short run, and I think it's going to be between those 2 guys.
What an incredible race this has been, though. I mean, there's been lap changes, lead changes that we've not seen in the past happen. The stages have certainly made things very interesting. The restarts, and it's not over yet. There's a lot of racing still left to go, and even though I do think the 18-2 are the class of the field, if they get racing one another too hard, there's plenty of cars right behind him. Chase Elliott, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, that can pounce on that.
I can't help but think about what would Jimmy Johnson do, or what would Chad do, but they're right there too.
Well, I remember a race here where the 3rd place car took out the 2 leaders and won it.
I don't remember that one.
You don't remember that? Remember, you said you weren't trying to win it.
You know, Martinsville sits about a half-mile off US 220, just south of Martinsville, Virginia, kind of in a swale in a neat little neighborhood. Matt Yoakum?
Mike, Ryan Blaney Spider Josh Williams has seen so many amazing views here over the years and races. In fact, Josh could actually turn around and see the roof of his grandfather's house just up the street. Orban Williams was the Martinsville track manager here for 15 years, and it really helped fuel Josh's passion for auto racing with many special moments, even hanging out with his hero and many others, the late Dale Earnhardt, here at the Martinsville Speedway. And that's really what makes NASCAR the association heroes to young kids, and then builds lifelong race fans. So many great images here through the years, and Josh certainly has very many.
Thanks, Matt. 88 laps to go. Jamie.
Well, after the 48 came in and he thought he had maybe engine issues, they diagnosed it. They seem to think the engine is fine, and crew chief Chad Knaus said it's the damage to the exhaust pipes that's giving that weird sound of the 48, so they seem to be good to go.
I tell you, drivers, we drive by sound here. The engine goes up, the engine goes down, and if that changes a little bit, it concerns the driver.
So Penske Racing will take this restart out front. Brad Keselowski, the last of the 6 Penske wins at Martinsville, was this race in 2004. The final win of Rusty Wallace's Hall of Fame career.
And you heard Kyle Busch was not real happy about giving up that lead and starting in this outside lane.
He's got a better chance today than most of the times I've been here. That outside had been totally junk.
Yeah, Chase Elliott needs to take advantage of this 3rd starting position.
Green flag.
Great restart. Side by side, across the line. Fighting back on that outside. Kyle Busch
fight back. You're
trying
right,
to hang on.
Look at the drive off the corner he had.
Boy, Keselowski really went hard into turn 3 right there.
And Kyle's not going to give it up. I mean, he had a shot to get in behind Keselowski right here.
This could be the race right here. And again, Busch gets a great launch off the corner.
He got him. He got him off the outside. That's really so hard to do. But what? I thought that dude was going to get him back.
What'd you say? That's what I thought you said.
I mean, if I'm Keselowski, I'm not going to get too bothered over this because his car's so good on the long run. Now, if we keep having short runs and restarts like this, then yeah, I'm going to be a little bit concerned. But his car is so good on the long runs, I wouldn't mind giving up a little bit right now if I had to.
7th place, Logano on the outside of Austin Dillon fighting hard.
But Mike, just watch his 2 cars. Watch him go into the corner. Watch how much he closes up on Kyle Busch into the corner.
Unfortunately, when he's inside of him, he went in there a little bit too hard.
All right, but again, just watch going down into 3. I mean, watch this cat drive down in there. Wow. Wham! It looks like he's going to run right into the back of Kyle Busch.
Yeah, so where are you going to win this race? Diving into the corner or coming up off the corner?
Trouble, turn 3. A lot of trouble.
Earnhardt looks like something went right through the radiator or oil cooler.
Yeah,
he's involved with Hamlin, Almirola, Allmendinger, and is that Patrick up by the wall?
Yeah, it's Danica up there.
Hang on, we got some bad look. What the fuck happened right there?
Good question. We apologize for the inadvertent language on live TV, but we certainly understand the frustration.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. They were just all kind of wadded up, and I think this is one of those chain reaction things. Let's take a look and see what happened. Here's the 11 and a 10. Hamlin and Patrick going down into 3.
Denny gets a little loose.
Yeah, he just shot up. He shot up the hill.
Oh, and then Earnhardt got into the back of Casey Kane.
And there's Allmendinger. He got into it.
Almirola.
Wow. I think the 88 is probably going to have to go to the garage. He's got a busted radiator.
You see the back end. Oh, he wheel hops a little bit right there. You know, we talked about Denny having some issues wheel hopping here last year.
Yep.
Looks like that might have caught him again.
Let's ride with Eric Almirola.
Somebody caught him right in the left rear and spun him around.
Yep, right up.
You know, I don't think
Patrick's.
I don't think her car was damaged. She was running 13th, spun around up to the top, and then got going once things cleared out.
I think you're right. She had some fuel, raw fuel in the exhaust. It was causing some issues getting it started and a little bit of a flame.
Now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has gone to the garage because that radiator problem was caused by crash damage. I don't believe that car will be allowed to return. They could have fixed it on pit road.
Yeah, if he could have gone back out, done minimum speed for one lap, then they could have gone back and changed it.
I think the way it was busted, I mean, it's water and there's an oil cooler there, and it really is a big mess.
Remember, Trevor Bayne, Earnhardt, and Almirola were all caught back there due to speeding penalties.
Hey guys, we've been looking at our Hawkeye system, and when you look at the 11 car turning off into the corner, there's something going on with the right rear tire. I don't know if that's wheel hop or if it was starting to go low. You can see it right there, Jeff and DW. Wow. Something's going on with it.
I definitely see it moving back and forth.
It's wheel hop, though. I mean, that's what it looks like when the tire, that's when it starts hopping. That's what it looks like. It flexes that tire.
You could see he was just a little bit loose. He almost had to get on the brakes a little bit more, and that's when it started hopping.
Yeah, the 48 came into pits, and somebody else came with him. Larson, I think it was, yeah.
Repairs being made to Hamlin's car. And with 79 laps to go, we're under the 13th caution flag of the day. We're going to take you side by side once again. Town in South Central Virginia between Roanoke and Greensboro, North Carolina, and a place where NASCAR's enjoyed great racing since before NASCAR was born. We're going to restart with 20 cars on the lead lap. Eric Jones got the free pass, and this time Kyle Busch back on the inside with Brad Keselowski outside.
Mike, we accomplished something today that I didn't think we'd ever accomplish. Jeff Gordon has eaten more hot dogs today than he has since he's been coming here.
If you take last year and this year, the 4 hot dogs that I think I've had, that adds up to more than I've had in about 20 years coming here to Martinsville.
So we did it, Mike. We did it.
2
Thank
for you,
guys.
2 for me, 2 for him.
I don't know if I'd be that proud of that if I was you.
That's okay. It's just a statistic.
But it was worth it. It was good.
No, your name's on the list now.
74 laps to go, and Kyle Busch rockets away into turn 1. Now it's Brad Keselowski's turn to see if he can run Busch hard with that launch off turn 2. Not so much. Matt Kenseth got a good jump on the outside of Chase Elliott for 3rd.
Matt's just got to be holding his breath saying, please don't hit me. Leave me alone.
And Austin Dillon.
Oh, and he hit it. I don't know.
Right
Matt kind of made some contact with Chase getting down in the corner.
And look at Austin Dillon. He's digging, man.
That's an impressive run.
Joey Logano, he's worked his way up there. Can you believe Logano? I mean, he was 2 laps down not too long ago.
So what I'm liking is this battle here and this battle up here for the lead.
Watch this.
Keselowski's
Watch his dive.
over
Watch
the
his dive bomb. Watch it.
Keselowski's in there for the lead.
I think now, I didn't think Kyle was going to give it to him. I thought Kyle might race him hard. It seems like
Make your adjustment now. Manage this gap. Clear by 1.
it really seems like Kyle, as he runs here, he seems to have the front end not sticking quite as good as he wants in the early part of his run. We'll see what it does.
I think Matt Kenseth would like to retaliate against Logano, but after the last couple of weeks, he said, I don't really think I can afford to.
And here comes Martin Truex. We've not seen much of him since he made a 4-tire stop and got mired back in the pack, but he has methodically worked his way back up through.
I just think Matt's being pretty cautious. Watch this right here. Little bump, little nudge up the hill. Here I go.
Certainly no level.
Oh, around goes Truex.
Oh, no.
And everybody else is going to get by.
Oh, easy, buddy.
Caution comes out for the 14th time, with 69 laps to go.
Well, darn.
And another lead change.
Truex was 7th.
Yeah, he was running great. He was really getting back in the hunt.
We just mentioned what a great job he'd done coming back up to the front. Oops.
Oh.
Battling Matt Kenseth here.
See what happens.
Well, I think that might have been a little bit of a wheel hop as well, similar to the 11 of Denny Hamlin. He just gets in there and gets loose, tries to correct it, gets into the outside, or gets into the 20.
Yeah, they're just kind of come together right there.
Wow.
Warrior was on his game right there.
Yeah, he's been on it today. Nice job avoiding that one.
Mike, it's a little deceiving, I know, but it's a little downhill into 3. We got the small spoiler on the back, not a lot of rear downforce, and you get in that corner just a little bit wrong, you can get a wheel hop or you can get loose and get the guy on the outside. How about that 78, Matt?
Truex just told Cole Perrin that they simply just pinched me really hard down to the bottom, and around it came.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily saw the wheel hop there, but he definitely got really loose as we see Matt Kenseth come to pit road.
I think Matt's got
2 cautions ago. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was involved. Here's Jamie.
Dale Jr. had quite the save earlier in the race. Sounded like you were having fun there for a while, Junior, but what happened to end it for you?
I love this place. A lot of fun today. Car was really good. Greg and the guys made a lot of changes last night, made our car way better. I must have sped on pit road. They said it was in the segment right after I pit stall, so I must have got a good launch out of there. And hanging around John Force too much or something, I don't know. But I don't know how you speed in that little segment just coming out of the pit box, but we must have got us kind of in the back, and we got bottled up there in 3, and there ain't no bumpers on these cars. It knocked the radiator out of it. So we're out of the race. We come in the garage to try to fix it, but we can't, you know, the new rules. So we're done. Happy with the speed of cars, having a good time, but real disappointed with the way we've been finishing. Got to finish better than this.
All right, we'll see you back in Texas, Junior.
Well, he started 20th and had a car that ran well today, but unfortunately won't be around for the finish as he joins Kurt Busch and Jamie McMurray in the garage now, along with Jeffrey Earnhardt and Matt DiBenedetto.
Remember where he won his first race, Dale Jr. Texas.
Next week. And a nice plug for NHRA, which follows us right here on FS1.
Yes, sir.
Today.
Like those guys and gals.
Yeah, back to what Dale Jr. was saying, he probably did get a big launch. I don't think that it was section 6. That's where he's actually pitted in section 6. It was actually in section 7, the one past his section. You know, so what happened was he got a good launch and is actually speeding in the next timing zone on pit road.
Too many lights. Jeff and I don't like lights, and Jeff says you got to know them.
14 caution flags today. Now remember, 2 of those cautions are for the end of the first 2 stages. So that's 12 cautions for cause compared to 13 in both races last year, Larry.
Well, yeah, look at our last 10 spring races here at Martinsville. The last caution comes on the average with 28 laps to go at lap 472. 4 of those times in the last 15 laps, and we've had 2 overtimes in the last 10 spring races.
Well, I don't understand this. The 2 took the outside. Do you think he and Kyle Busch have...
No, there's no deal being made right here.
Do you think that's possible?
No, he wants the outside.
Crazy.
Green flag.
Or at least he thinks he wants the outside.
Well, he made a good choice.
Boy, look at him. Yeah, that worked out fantastic.
Yep, he doesn't want Kyle Busch to have that launch off the outside, right?
What he does want is Austin Dillon to be the outside of the 18 of Kyle Busch and battle him for second.
I think there was a method to his madness. I'll let you know what it is when I figure it out, but there was one. I can't believe that little Austin Dillon. I mean, he's up there fighting for a lead and trying to win this thing. Slugger Labby's got to be jumping up and down on the pit box down there as crew chief.
Big dust up in the back down at turn 1 when Truex and Almirola got up out of the groove. They recover.
Man, this battle for the lead just continues to heat up every single lap. Who's going to outdrive the other into the corner? Who's going to make contact?
Yep. I just can't
then you got Austin Dillon.
I know, I'm telling you.
His best career finish matches his car number right now. He wants to improve on that.
He has had an amazing day. I hope he can finish it off.
Joey Logano getting inside of the 14 of Clint Bowyer.
That's a guy you better keep an eye on, because that Logano car, they have been pretty darn good over the last several laps.
That's 5th place right there for Logano.
Newman looking. Bowyer gives him just enough room. Larry?
Yeah, I talked to Richard Childers, owner of the 3 cars from RCR, and he said, Larry, you have no idea how big that was for our company to finally find victory lane after over 3 years with Ryan Newman. But he said, Larry, you have no idea how bad we need to get this 3 car into victory lane.
Oh, what a day that would be, Larry. I tell you, that would be something.
Well, Larry, I got to tell you, these two keep going at it like they are right here, and we still have a lot of laps left to go. They might get that win.
I remember a race here where the 3rd place car was in a position to do just that.
Got to get a little closer.
It was the 3 car that was leading is the only difference.
You got to wait till the last lap, though. Don't do it now.
That's true. Push to the inside. Here we go for the lead.
Man, these two, it is unbelievable. They're trading lap times. They're trading positions, trading paint.
Dead even. Just letting those 2 kids behind them close up.
Yep. No quarter given and none asked.
Austin Dillon and Chase Elliott right there kind of watching this little battle said,
And Brad
Crossover. Oh, little bump.
Ooh, I wouldn't have done that. Mess with the bull, you get the horns.
These are 2 of the most equal race cars and one of the best races I've seen for the lead here at Martinsville in a very long time.
I think it's pretty cool. Here we are at 445 laps, and we got 4 guys, 5 really, that are, I mean, any one of them could win this race.
21 cars on the lead lap. 4 of them fighting for the lead right here.
Look at Keselowski just close in under the braking zone again, right to the rear bumper of the 18 of Kyle Busch.
They're like yo-yo. The 18's better off the corner, 2 better in. Better off, better in.
Well, you know, DW, you want, as the leader, to ease it into the corner, to get the car rotated and get a big launch up off the corner. But Keselowski's not allowing Kyle Busch to do that. He's putting so much pressure on him, he's forcing him to drive deep in the corner. When the 18 was in second, he did the same thing back to the 2 of Keselowski.
Here's what I know. If it comes down to the last lap and that 2 is behind me, I know he's going to dive bomb me. I know that.
Well, they called Dale Earnhardt the Intimidator. But of today's drivers, these 2 are the best at it. Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch at intimidation. But can they intimidate each other?
Well, there's another one that's running 5th that doesn't mind sticking it in there either, and that's Joey Logano, and he's going to get up there before this is over with.
A little bit of pressure being put on the 3 of Austin Dillon as well, back in 3rd by Chase Elliott. Chase is a little bit better than him right now.
And in turn 1, Larson looking at Newman.
Ooh, man,
7th place.
Mike, they got together going into 1. I thought Newman was going to maybe run up the hill, but Larson give him some room.
Man, look at this tight racing and battle for the lead.
Brad is not going to, it's going to be hard for Brad to make that pass unless he can ever get off the corner equal with the 18. He got a good job there now, and that gives him a pretty good shot getting into 3, but he's got to get off the corner even with that 18.
One of the things I'd be concerned with if I'm Keselowski is running too many laps right behind Kyle Busch. As deep as he's driving in the corner, as much brake as he's using, that's going to build up a lot of temp in those brakes and those front tires.
I think you're right, Jeff. The sun's going down. I kind of believe it's ambient temps pretty cool right now. These are probably pretty good conditions. Just look at that. I mean, hunting, baby.
Boy, Chase Elliott just tried to stick his nose in there for 3rd place, but
look at mid-corner. That's closer than a hot dog wrapper thickness right there.
When you're really seeing the strengths and weaknesses of both of these cars, and they're not in the same place. The 2 can drive in the corner really deep. He can get to the center really good, but he doesn't drive off the corner quite as good as the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Yeah, you got a Toyota leading, a Ford running 2nd, a Chevy running 3rd, another Chevy, and then another Ford. What did you tell me about Keselowski up here that, like last year and the last couple of times we've been here, he has really been a car that was hard to beat?
Well, in the last race here last fall, I watched the last couple hundred laps of this race, and I could not. He closed up 3 seconds on leader Jimmy Johnson. He didn't win the race, but he got all the way up to 2nd place. But he closed up a ton. He was so good on the long runs. But today he's been good on the short runs and the long runs.
I'm just impressed with that brake package. I don't know what they got, but it's awesome.
Just remember, he's got to win. Kyle Busch, since his last win, which was Indianapolis last July, has now led over 800 laps since he was last in victory lane.
And you know what I don't understand about Kyle Busch? We hear him get upset. We hear him talking to the crew chief on the radio, arguing back and forth. But when they drop that green flag, he's all business. He vents, but then he goes back to work.
I call that passion.
That's definitely passion. And a couple of wires sparking every now and then.
Well, one thing's for sure, he's having to keep his cool right now because Keselowski is keeping the pressure on. There he goes. He's going to let him go this time. He's had enough.
When he gets that run down in the corner like that, it's hard to hold him back.
He's going to give it back to him, though.
What's the difference in getting in the corner?
I love Keselowski waves at him. Brad, don't wave to him just yet. No. I don't know if he's done with you.
So you've got 40 laps to go. At this stage, would you rather be the hunted or the hunter?
I want to be in that 2 car pulling away. I want my crew to say, you've got a second lead and you're pulling away.
Here's that battle for 3rd place with Chase Elliott, Austin Dillon. Finally, Chase is going to get the inside, but can he complete the pass? He's coming up on a lap car. He might be able to use him as a pick if they get to him, and they're still side by side.
Yes, this was nicely timed by Chase as they close up on Timmy Hill. He'll set the pick as they get down to turn number 3, perhaps.
And Jeff, it's got to make you feel pretty proud, pretty happy. You run great here in that 24 car, 1 races. It's got to make you feel good. That Hendrick car is running up front with that kid behind the wheel.
It does, but what it really, I'm just so impressed with Chase Elliott because I've talked to him about how he's run here at Martinsville, and he's been very frustrated. He feels like, I don't have what it takes. But today he's proven that with enough hard work and laps and a great race car, you can figure it out and make it work like he is right now.
But you remember his Cup debut here at Martinsville? He got into the wall a couple of times, banged the car up, and then they ended up with a 400-lap test session. It was not pretty.
No, I just think you can't overlook it. He raced here yesterday in the truck race, sat on pole, won that race. Man, I can't tell you what that does for a driver's confidence. He came in here today pretty pumped up.
Well, he's going to gain a ton of confidence and experience by running up front all day long, being good on the long runs. It's going to be really good for him for the future.
16th place, Jimmy Johnson and Eric Jones, both after repairs, both on the lead lap, but about 10 seconds back of the lead.
And quite honestly, when I look at lap times, Keselowski's at 21:09 and Chase at 21:06, so they're closer together. Kyle Busch is struggling just a little bit right now.
Well, we talked about how Keselowski's so good on the long runs. We got 1 car out of the groove, David Reagan. But to me, that's why I think I'd like to be up front right now. If I have a car like Keselowski's that's so good on the long runs, I think what Kyle had that was so strong was the shorter run. I love how 77 of Eric Jones not giving this one up easy. Nope. He's battling with, I hope he knows he's battling with a 9-time Martinsville winner right there, because, man, that's great experience.
Now, there was a bang-up between Danica Patrick and Ty Dillon, but this is important because they are fighting for the free pass position to be the first car 1 lap down. Cole Witt is on the lead lap. David Reagan is at the end of 1 lap down. So this is an important little battle right here. Should the caution come out, one of them will be back on the lead lap.
A little smoke to the left front of Danica Patrick, where she's made some contact.
Tell you what, the thing about Danica, oh no, that's not good. I don't like that. But the thing about her is she races hard here.
Oh, she's feisty
really
now. She gets after it.
And I think this is where she is in great shape. I see her in the workout facilities everywhere we go, and I'm telling you, she is strong.
And look who's inside there.
Cole Witt.
Cole Witt. I love it, man. This kid has put together a great run today.
Back on the lead lap, 21st right now, as Brad Keselowski is pulled away by 0.8 of a second over Kyle Busch with 33 to go.
By the way, I do go into workout facilities every now and then.
So Brad's concern right now is not the car on his tail, it's the cars up ahead.
I need a little help back here with our cars, Joe. Yeah, I mean, I wish 10-4, do all I can. It's not going to be very helpful today.
Well, guess who's the next car he's going to lap? Kyle Busch's teammate, Denny Hamlin. That's probably what he sees. Maybe a little
I think also what he's thinking about is he remembers what happened at the end of stage 2, where he saw Kyle Busch have such trouble with those lap cars. There's a great battle between Matt Kenseth and Buescher. That's a great run for 10th place right here.
Chris?
Yeah, Chris Buescher really having a great day. The first half of this race, they just worked on the car. The second half, the balance has been great. Trying to get his first top 10 of the year. In fact, his first top 20 of the year. The thing they're worried about right now is the voltage issue. They got all the fans off. They're just trying to make it to the end.
Denny Hamlin slow in the back straightaway. He does not come to pit road, but laid over there. And hey, Ricky Stenhouse right back in the fight here for 10th place as well.
I'll tell you, that old heap's beat up, but he's still going. He's still going somewhere. He's trying.
Now Matt Kenseth came in for 4 tires on lap 433. So that's certainly a nice little advantage he has there.
Have a look at Chris Buescher's day. Got up as high as 7th after being a lap down in the mid section of this race.
Well, we talk about Martinsville like climbing a mountain, or Mount Everest for some guys, and that's been a nice climb for him.
Yeah, so far though, I've been watching our leader up there, Keselowski, as we look at Matt Kenseth here. Keselowski has been lucky. The cars that he's run up on, Mike, so far have all pulled out of his way and gave him clean sailing.
Well, as we wind down closer and closer to the end of this race, those positions those lap cars are racing for are going to be more important to them. They're going to be less willing to give up some of those positions, but they're going to be more important for Brad Keselowski to get by.
How about 6th place here? Clint Boyer coming off his best run in a long time. 3rd last week in the top half dozen. And A.J. Allmendinger, who has 2 second-place finishes here, taking it to Boyer in turn 2.
Well, we talk about Allmendinger being really good on road courses, being good here in Martinsville. You saw right there, he really carries a lot of speed into the corner. He's going to make that pass.
And here comes Newman right with him.
I thought Boyer might
do the crossover,
tell him hello, but instead he's told him goodbye.
25 to go.
Right,
Corey LaJoie just ahead of the leaders. I talked to his dad this morning, the former Busch champion Randy. He told Corey this week, he sat him down, he said, look, the average finish for this car in its history is 33rd. You have a 33rd place car. Quit trying to drive it like a 20th place car. Run clean laps, get a good finish, and you will move that number up. And LaJoie right now is 28th, and he is outperforming that car's record. Good job.
That is amazing advice, and obviously by past Xfinity Series champion and Randy LaJoie, his father. And that's all you got to do. If the car has a 30th place in it, get 30th. If it has 25th, get 25th. Don't try to make that a 15th place. That's not how you're going to impress people.
You know a good example of that. Let's just think about the guy that won last week, Kyle Larson. We knew he had a lot of talent. We knew he had the ability to win races. He didn't have the car for him. When they got the car for him, then he was able to display his talent.
And what was he doing before that? A lot of times, DW. You look earlier in that last year, he was up on the wall trying to make something out of, more out of it than it was capable of, and he started hitting the wall and making mistakes. That's when you overdrive it. You just got to get everything it has. And this year, Chip Ganassi Racing has been giving him cars that are capable of quite a bit.
Well, it isn't pretty, but some drivers have really worked hard today. Daniel Suarez is one of them, 11 laps down. Crashed in practice, had to go to a backup car, was involved in 2 crashes, but though that car is very wounded, he's still logging laps and still hanging in there.
And Mike, it started before he got here. I mean, Dave Rogers, his crew chief, walked in the middle of the week and said, I'm not going to be able to go to Martinsville with you guys. And so they had to bring in another crew chief. And I know for Daniel, that was not good for him.
Scott Graves on the pit box, who helped Suarez to an Xfinity championship, so they have soldiered on today.
Boy, I'm just wondering, as I watched the 18 of Kyle Busch and 24 of Chase Elliott, did that battle with Keselowski with Kyle Busch take a little bit out of those tires? He was in control of this race and really good on the longer runs earlier, pulling away from Chase Elliott. Now Chase Elliott seems to be closing in on him.
Well, remember, Kyle said on the radio that last set of tires, he said, why are they different? What did you change? We didn't change anything. We just changed the tires. Well, they feel completely different.
And now,
here's the result.
And now, Mike, I mean, this is at the point of a race where your brakes, they're still there, but they're not as good as they were in the beginning. And if you were relying on those brakes to get you in the corner, which we saw the 2 car much better getting into the corner than the 18 was, probably just a lot of his stuff is worn out.
Short tracking this Sunday and in a couple of the weeks to come, but next Sunday, the wide open places and the newly repaved Texas Motor Speedway on Fox.
That's going to be some big boy racing down there.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna tell you,
some big time speed.
Woo, son.
I got to find Mikey some cattle to go with that hat. I bet Eddie knows where there's some.
I know he knows where a couple of ponies are. Your buddy.
I might know a thing or two about a pony or 2.
Been a long time since Team Penske or Ford have been to victory lane here at Martinsville Speedway.
Well, Mike, there's 15 laps to go, coming to 14. Are we naive enough to believe we're not going to be another caution before this thing's over with?
You know, I know what our trends say.
Fellas, I'd say this race has a long green flag look to it. Larry?
What was that, Mike?
I said this race has got that long green flag look to it. 14 laps to go. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I'm still not sure it's over with. Yeah, we know that obviously Brad Keselowski's pulled out to a good lead, but there's still a lot of tight battles for a lot of positions around this racetrack. And as I said, 4 times in the last 10 races here in the spring, we had a caution in the final 15 laps.
Well, I know there's a few scores to settle out here, but I don't see any of the major combatants within striking distance of each other right this minute.
No, I think I hear a lot of guys hollering uncle. I really do. I think they've had all they want for one day.
I just can't get out of my head what they would do if the caution did come out right now.
Yeah, well, you can bet there's some wheels down there in the pits turning right now.
I know what I've done. I packed my pit equipment up.
Right. See you at the house. So 12 laps to go here in Martinsville, Virginia. First of a big doubleheader on FS1 today because NHRA coverage from Las Vegas is coming up right after the race. You'll enjoy that here on FS1. What did we say from the clip, the paper clip to the strip today on FS1? You know, Brad Keselowski is going for his 5th straight top 5 finish, and that would be a career best string for him. See that little tire mark in front of the number 2? He got that one in the first 15 laps in the race, and otherwise that car is pretty pristine for 500 laps here.
Thing looks a lot better than the one he ran second in last week.
Well,
last week that car was torn all to pieces and he finished second.
I don't know, he might do the complete opposite next week in Texas and tear it up again. That car is pretty fast in California. Seems like a clean race car like you have with him this week is the way to go at Martinsville.
He and his teammate Joey Logano, along with Austin Dillon and Chase Elliott, are the only drivers lapping below 21.4 seconds. They're the fastest cars on the track. Kyle Busch just clocked in at 21:38, so he is right there with him, but 1.87 seconds back and not making many inroads.
Well, boys, all I can tell you is just don't be going to victory circle just yet.
8 to go.
We've seen these races time and time again. This year particularly, the best car didn't always win.
Ooh, 3 wide front straightaway down into turn 1 because Kyle Larson did not get off the corner well. That gave Buescher and Stenhouse a chance to pounce.
Yeah, Stenhouse, that puts him, he's running 10th right now. That's a great finish for him if he can hang on.
And a great battle. I mean, all that he's been through today and the damage on that race car.
I think Larson's in trouble.
Yeah, he's got brake problems. That's a car that looks like he's out of brakes.
Jamie.
Well, they just told him to switch batteries. It's dying slowly. He thought maybe he was running out of fuel. They said that's definitely not the issue. He's working on it, switching batteries right now.
Boy, with 5 laps to go, he's fallen to 13th.
Yeah, the way he was slowing down on the straightaway, Mike, I thought it looked like a car that had lost brakes, but certainly ignition will do the same thing.
And remember, he was our lap leader. I mean, our points leader coming into this race. This could have point effects.
Kasey Kahne going to get inside of Larson down the front straightaway with 4 to go.
The 42 just doesn't have power down the straightaway. He's fine in the corners.
3 to go for Brad Keselowski.
I'm still nervous.
Still a pretty good battle.
Traffic between you and the guys behind you now. 20 back.
Pretty good battle for second place between the 18 of Kyle Busch and the 24 of Chase Elliott. Chase is a little bit better than him right now. I just don't know if he can get to him and get underneath them.
Number of good battles. Newman Kenseth, Buescher Jones. This is coming right down to the checkered flag for a lot of these positions.
Matt Kenseth and Newman going at it.
But for Brad Keselowski, the white flag waves. 1 to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Back straightaway, pulling down on Danica Patrick. Clear sailing to the line. And in his 275th start, Brad Keselowski, Miller Lite, Team Penske, and Ford will go to victory lane at Martinsville. 8th place, right side of the screen, right down to the wire. Newman prevails over Kenseth. It's Brad's 5th.
A lot of diamonds today. Awesome job, Brad. Great job on pit road today, guys. Nice solid day. It's what we needed.
5 straight top 5s.
Thank you, everybody.
That's his longest streak. 2nd win of 17. First repeat winner of 2017 since his victory in Atlanta. Rebounded from a speeding penalty. First win for Team Penske at Martinsville in 13 years. And the first win here for Ford in more than a decade. Taking home the checkered flag, Brad Keselowski, today's Sunoco fueling victory.
I feel like it's been a long time coming for Brad Keselowski here. He's really a student of tracks like this. He's been in great position to get that win and just hasn't pulled it off. Today he did.
Keselowski and Ford, the winners here on NASCAR's oldest, shortest track.
Brad Keselowski, 2 for the 2 car this year. The repeat winner. Kyle Busch led the most laps, but wound up 2nd. Let's check in with Matt Yoakum with the driver. Everything's not so great, Matt.
Such an impressive run by the 18 of Kyle Busch. Just that last run on this set of tires just didn't mix up.
Yeah, all we did was put 4 tires on it and it went to junk. So, you know, I hate it for our guys. They deserved they've deserved all year much better finishes than what we've been able to produce, and here's another one today. So just frustrating season so far, but you know, we give it everything we got. We do all we can with what we're given at the particular time, and we try to execute and do a good job. And my pit crew did great today. Adam and the guys did an awesome job on this car this weekend to get it to where it was. And man, we're lights out faster than those guys after 20 laps or so, you know. And that run, it was at minimum at least 3/10 slower the entire time, and that's why Brad just was able to drive away there at the end. We were really struggling. I'm surprised I held off to 24, but you know, overall just not quite getting the finishes we need with our M&M's Camry. Can't say enough about M&M's and Snickers and Skittles, pedigree, American Heritage, everybody on this Toyota Camry. We just, you know, need to figure out how to finish better than what we are or where we are running, and so far we've just been finishing worse.
Thanks, Kyle. Jamie?
The Miller Lite shower in victory lane. First time for Brad Keselowski and this 2 team. Brad, so many times you guys came so close to winning this, but finally, this beautiful grandfather clock is yours. What does it mean to you to win here finally? It's such a historic racetrack.
It is, Jamie. It really is. This is awesome. We've ran so good here, like you said, Jamie, with the Miller Lite Ford, but something always happens, and we haven't been able to bring it home. And you know, Martinsville is just one of those champions tracks where you just, you know, the guys that run well everywhere run good here, and it's really an honor to win here and get to compete here. And the history of this track, you know, it's 70 years old, and a lot of legends have won here, and man, it feels great to be able to join them, Jamie, and bring home a clock. A lot of people don't know this. Those clocks are built in my hometown in Rochester Hills, Michigan, so it's cool to get one of them from back home. And I had one as a truck owner, but not as a driver, so glad to bring one back as a driver. But probably more than anything else, I'm really proud. And you hear it all the time, the boys back at the shop, but Team Penske has put so much effort in these Martinsville cars for the last 3 or 4 years, because we knew it was one of our weakest tracks, and finally we get the result they deserve. So thank you guys so much, and thank you to the fans. There's a lot more people these last few weeks have been wearing 2 gear. It's really cool to see, and I'd like to say thank you to them. They're watching at home and in the stands. Amazing day.
Race win number 2 on the season for Brad Keselowski. Chris?
And Chase Elliott comes home 3rd today. Chase, you've said this place is a bit of a puzzle. It looks like you've got it figured out. How important was running the truck race yesterday?
I think it helped a little bit. I definitely still have a little work to do, but it was much improved. I hope it wasn't just a one-day event, and we got lucky, but I hope that wasn't the case. I hope we have a good direction, and we can build on this for the fall. This is an important race, and we'd love to have a good run then.
Thanks, Chase. Chris?
All right, thank you very much. And for Brad Keselowski with Kyle Busch, the last 160 laps of this 500-lap race was those 2 going at it and getting a hug in victory lane. As Brad Keselowski, who remember won in Atlanta for the first time in his career, now in Martinsville. He goes to Texas next week, where he's also looking for another check mark for the first win of his career. As we look at the point standings, so Fords have now won 3 of the 6 races to start the year. You see where Keselowski is, the first repeat winner. Kyle Larson still leading in points.
Edsel Ford comes to victory lane, gives Brad Keselowski a big hug. It's got to feel good right now the way those cars are performing. Ryan Newman, off the strength of his win in Phoenix, up in 11th in the point. We've got a bunch of good stories in 2017, Chris.
And Richard Childress Chevrolet, Austin Dillon in that 3 car finishing 5th. Let's check in with Matt. He's standing by with Austin.
Stellar day for Austin Dillon in the 3, and just like last year, you just kept building and building, moving your way to the front, almost mirror copy of last year.
Yeah, really big for our team, for everybody at Dow and Akuma. Our pit crew did a really good job today. We had a fast car on restarts and really could take off. Middle of the run was shaky for us, but that last run we held on, which was really nice. That's what I was worried about on kind of older tires there, but it worked out for us, and man, to all the glory be to God, and just happy to be here today.
All right, thanks very much. Well, after 6 races, we'll go to Texas. We know about the repay. We know it's a 1.5 miles, but early on. We're 1/6 of the way through this season, and certainly Brad Keselowski, a past champion, has made it known he's the guy to watch, at least at this mark of the season, in the big picture for another championship.
And his Penske teammate Joey Logano, those cars are really, really fast. I've been really impressed week in and week out with Chase Elliott. Look for him to be a story down in Texas. I love this new repave we're going to be faced with down there. A lot of grip. That means the young kids can throw the gas down and let it happen.
And for Keselowski, Paul Wolf is crew chief, right, appealing that suspension, that three-race suspension, got to be part of things today and overcoming an early penalty. No problem for the two-team. And next Sunday on Fox, we will be at the Great American Speedway in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We hope you join us then. Coverage on FS1 race day beginning, as there is Roger Penske, a monster win for Team Penske in the Monster Energy Series. For Michael Waltrip and our entire gang, a race that had a lot of action over the 500 laps. Again, for the 7th time in the last 8 races in Martinsville, the driver who led the most laps did not win. Kyle Busch finishing 2nd, and Brad Keselowski and his Penske 2 Ford in victory lane. Thanks for being a part of NASCAR on FS1. Have a great week. We'll see you next weekend.
What I love about driving my race car, you have to look at my past. I had polio as a kid, tried to play football in school, loved wearing a helmet, loved the cheer of the crowd, loved the camaraderie of a team, but I got to college, I just wasn't gonna make it as a football player. But when you think about growing up, and your dad's a truck driver and your mom's a cook, we lived in a trailer house. We picked berries up and down the coast. We logged, we hauled cattle. We did everything you could imagine. So the first time I got a chance to get a car, an old beat up 54 Chevy, I put my girl's picture on the dashboard. That car became your life. It got you out of that house. So now I get into this Fuel Funny car. It's my office. It's the one place I can be me. I can turn on that radio and I can dream of anything I want. Because the dreams are created by the crowd. People say, you crashed and you got out and you're jumping around. You just wiped out a $250,000 race car. But did you hear the crowd? I get to do that every day of my life. I get to live it, the camaraderie of the teams. I got it all. And it's all in the cockpit of that car where I'm the boss. They can never take that race car from me. I'll live in it till I die.
Today, John hopes to hear the roar of this crowd. Fans filing into the strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for race number 4 of the NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series. It is race day. Final eliminations at the 18th Denso Spark Plugs Nationals. We're back here in the pits. The energy already electric as some of John's adoring fans in early for an autograph from the 16-time champion. Along with 2-time Funny Car champion Tony Pedregon, I am Dave Reef. There is no doubt this is a driven, passionate man, but let's face it, even his drag racing career had obstacles he had to overcome. It took 10 years, 10 finals for him to get that first national event win, but since then, nearly unstoppable. You worked so closely with him. What makes that man tick?
Well, it starts with a level of intensity that is unlike anyone I've ever met, but you have to have the car, and through some R&D, development of cylinder head and some clutch parts, they now have the performance. But John did teach me one thing. It's not what you've done in the past, it's what you've done lately. They won 2 weeks ago. They were among the quickest cars yesterday, and last qualifying run, which will be a lot like today's first round.
You bet. John Force trying to go back-to-back. Last time he did that was last year to start the Western Swing, but today he'll have to do it from qualifying position number 7. Who is number 1 in Funny Car? Well, let's just say the apple didn't fall too far from the tree. There's plenty of John's DNA in his daughter, Courtney Force, who leads Funny Car from the pole today. What's the story going on in Top Fuel? For that, we turn to Comp Eliminator World Champ Bruno Massa.